Very warm welcome to the ET Make in India MSME Regional Summit, an Economic Times initiative to enable future-ready MSMEs to power the India at 100 vision. On behalf of the economictimes.com, I'm very excited to welcome you all today to the Ahmedabad edition of the ET MSME Regional Summit. Today, we have gathered here to delve into the dynamic world of Gujarat's MSME ecosystem and highlight its significance in shaping India's economic landscape. Often referred to as the land of entrepreneurs, Gujarat has established itself as a vibrant hub for micro, small, and medium enterprises, which we better know as MSMEs, showcasing a remarkable spirit of innovation, resilience, and business acumen. Today's event provides us with an exceptional platform to celebrate the achievements of the Gujarat MSME sector, exchange knowledge and experiences, and chart a roadmap to build globally competitive and future-ready MSMEs from India. The Ahmedabad edition of the ET Make in India MSME Regional Summit is brought to you by the economictimes.com, in partnership with State Bank of India as banking partner, MCX as awareness partner, and Hotel Renaissance as the hospitality partner. Through engaging and insightful sessions with some of the top policymakers, industry leaders, and ecosystem enablers we have with us today, we aim to uncover new growth opportunities and foster collaborations that will further amplify the success of Indian MSMEs. Now, I would like to invite Mr. R.D. Barhat, the esteemed Joint Commissioner of Industries Ahmedabad, to deliver the keynote address on the theme of building future-ready MSMEs to power India at 100. Can we please all put our hands together for Mr. Rajesh Barhat?
First of all, I would welcome all of you on this better morning. Some sort of respite has come from greenhouse effect of last 2 days. I'm delighted to address a learned gathering today in response to the program of enabling future-ready MSMEs for India at 100. As Ms. Miloni said, the MSMEs for any country or any state are the backbone of the economy of particular state or country. Even in MSMEs, if you look at the figures, even for Gujarat state, the 95% of them are micro units. 4.5 or something are small units, and less than 2.5% are the medium units. The definition of MSME has been changed in 2020. Earlier, it was up to 10 crores of investment. Now, since 2020, there is a dual criteria added, and the investment limit in plant and machinery has been enhanced to 50 crore rupees up, and a turnover criteria of 250 crore rupees. So there is a dual criteria. We have the MSMEs definition expanded. So majority of the units which were there not in MSME are also now covered into the MSME. The registration Udyam has been simplified by the central government. Earlier it was Udyog Aadhar. Now it is more rationalized, more synchronized with your IT returns and everything. So the simplified Udyog online Udyam is introduced. Talking of Gujarat as a state, in the scenario of industry, development of industry, it goes without saying that Gujarat from the time immemorial has been a hub of the businesses and industries. Even in the prehistoric times, our entrepreneurs our businessmen used to cross seas and had their businesses, merchandise overseas to the countries of African countries and European countries. Coming to the modern Gujarat, uh, I am I'm taking pride in mentioning that Gujarat accounts for about 18% of India's industrial output, with 11% of the factories, number of factories in India. So out of 100 factories in India, 11 factories are from Gujarat, and even then, 18 uh, items or products are from Gujarat. So we are getting 18% of industrial output from 11% of the factories of India. In 1920, our manufacturing sector share as a percentage of state GDP stood at 37.5% compared to national average of 17% to national GDP. So we are almost double the benchmark of national benchmark of GDP in manufacturing sector. uh, we are having the highest number of large products among the nation. We have the count of 1,926 large projects, which is 22.5% of India. We are accounting for second highest number of investment intentions in 2021. Gujarat is exporting and contributing 30% of India's exports, total exports. I'm not talking about exports from Gujarat. I'm talking of exports of Gujarat. Exports from Gujarat, from ports of Gujarat is 40%. India's national total exports figure, out of that 40% is being exported from Gujarat ports, but 30% of Gujarat's, I mean overall, looking to the export figures, 30% of the exports value is done from Gujarat. We have got 7,500 hectares of land earmarked for, and especially developed industrial lands for various industries, which includes GIDC estates and 100 plus private industrial parks. We are the only state having a statewide fully developed, fully functional natural gas grid, water grid, and 100% electrification. There are certain landmarks, there are certain achievements to boast about. I would name a few. We are top achiever in ease of doing business in 2021. We are first in logistics performance index and leads index in 18, 19, 21, and 22. We are best performer in startups in the years of 18, 19, 21. We are first in export preparedness index. We are first in composite water management index by Niti Aayog. We are first to have a PCPIR region, petroleum, chemical, and petrochemical investment region. And we are home to 100 plus Fortune 500 companies. This is what we are, as a state, we are standing. Apart from that, looking to the finance and availment of schemes, government schemes, as far as collateral-free loans is concerned, we are third in getting CGTMSE subscriptions. So our rank is third in India for getting disbursement into CGTMSE scheme. I think everybody must be aware of what is CGTMSE fund, which upon subscription, which provides you a collateral-free loan from the banks for term loan. We are first in Z certification registration. So these are Gujarat's first. I am happy to mention that since Gujarat is a policy-driven state, we have policy in place for every aspect of the industry or every expenditure that an industrial unit makes. We, as a state, we have policy or scheme for those expenditures, and we subsidize those expenditures through by way of reimbursements. Precisely, if I say within a span of 15 to 20 in a 5 years scheme period, policy period, More than 50,000 MSME units have been given the advantage of one or the other schemes of incentives, and an exchequer of about 9,000 crore rupees in a period of 5 years has been disbursed as incentives. I don't think any other state probably would be having such a large amount going into incentives. Now, all this infrastructure, all this political will, all this bureaucratic will of Gujarat government that is poised to take Gujarat to the next level, we have, along with other states, along with other countries, we are faced with the modern generation problems that probably will have to be addressed in a discussion when we are talking of enabling future ready MSMEs for India at 100. And these issues, problems include the modern day problems of depletion of resources, energy resources, water resources, uh, the problems created by the solutions itself, which were solutions to the earlier problems, like we solved the problem of mobility, which created another problem of pollution. So there are solutions which created problems, and we have to find solutions for those solutions which earlier were solutions of some problems. Uh, we are facing with we are facing problems of uh, resource crunch. We are supposed to find solutions to various such things. Apart from that, we are into the era of artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, and those solutions, those advancements, nowadays we are reading in newspapers, are also, before they bring solutions, they are creating problems. Artificial intelligence is creating a problem of an anticipated problem of unemployment. So we are struggling with various solutions which are going to create some problems. So there is a cascading effect where we have to take care of every problem that comes after a solution that has to be envisioned and that has to be solved. So we are faced with various issues which have to be discussed and solved through a very apt, very well thought strategies for the industries to develop. At the same time, when we develop, we need to maintain a balance between the issues, the problems created by those advancements, those strategies that we do for advancements. Uh, as I said, apart from the uh, infrastructure that Gujarat provides, in a very recently launched scheme of Atmanirbhar Gujarat, in line with Atmanirbhar Bharat vision of Honorable Prime Minister, I would just take 1 minute to cursorily touch upon various incentive schemes that we have devised into this Atmanirbhar Gujarat portfolio. We would provide in this scheme capital subsidy for the micro units. We would provide interest subsidy for MSMEs as a whole, ranging from 5% to 7% interest subsidy, with maximum limit of 35 lakh per annum for 5 years to 7 years, category wise. We have divided the whole state into three types of categories. Each taluka is defined in one category, 1, 2, or 3. The highest developed category is category 3, which needs less of incentives. So our incentive level will be less compared to category 1. Category 1 is the category which would be highly incentivized, but made of those talukas where the industrial investment is more likely to be attracted. It is less developed so far. We are also, through this scheme, we are providing SGST reimbursement. So if you are investing 100 rupees, you will get almost 100 rupees back in the form of SGST that you paid. We are reimbursing the SGSTs paid for 10 years. This scheme provides EPF reimbursement for all your employees. This provides for 50% assistance in the expenses that you made for getting quality certifications like BIS, ISO, WHO GMP, HACCP, and all those quality assistance. You get 75% of the patent expenses up to 25 lakh rupees. If you are getting a patent, you whatever you spent, you get 75% back. You acquire a technology from any institute, either foreign or domestic, in the soft form. Any technology acquired in the soft form, you get 65% of the cost up to rupees 50 lakh. Your ICT, cloud computing network, 65% of the cost expenditures up to 5 lakh rupees. You go to public through SME exchange, 25% of your IPO expenses up to 5 lakh rupees. You have a new unit or expansion and you get power connection from the nearest utility. Your 35% of the cost up to 5 lakh rupees are reimbursed. You are taking some measures to audit environment, audit energy and water, and you have some equipment for conservation of the energy. Your 75% cost of audit and 25% of equipment cost up to 20 lakh rupees are reimbursed. Your ERP system, you get 1 lakh rupees, 65% reimbursement. You take Z certification, 50% of the cost up to 50,000 rupees. You are subscribing CGT MSE, Credit Guaranteed Trust for MSE, for collateral free term loan. You get whole your subscription back in the form of reimbursement. Now I would also inform you that the CGT MSE, earlier it was for 1 or 2 crore probably. Now it has been expanded to 5 crores of loan. At the same time, the premium on those, subscription fees on those are also reduced to the 0.38%, which were earlier 1.8% or 1.5%. So it is reduced to 0.38%. All those fees also are reimbursed through these schemes. So this was a gist of the schemes, the subsidies provided through Atmanirbhar Gujarat scheme. And with this, I would conclude my keynote address. I again thank the organizers for such a wonderful topic to be discussed today, and all you learned audience for attending this session. Thank you.
About Mr. Kumar, he drives the business growth of Symphony and also, of course, oversees the subsidiaries. He has nearly 2 decades of experience in the corporate and consulting sectors. He's worked with companies such as GE, PwC, Shapoorji Pallonji, EY, and KPMG. And, he also had his own tech startup linked to data analytics. Welcome to Economic Times.
Thanks, Melody. It's a pleasure to be here today. The agenda for this session is also something that is very close to my heart. I'd like to mention, there was a time when I was leading my own startup, which can be classified into the MSME universe. So that's something that's very close to my heart. So again, a pleasure to be here.
Right, and you also studied in Gujarat at the IIM Ahmedabad. So you have deep roots, with the state.
That's right.
And the city, of course.
Yes, absolutely, and that's something that the study here, the education here was one critical aspect of how the thinking process shaped up around growing the business and going global at the same time.
All right, so our focus today is on the growth mantra for MSMEs of today, which will become the MNCs of tomorrow, something like a symphony story, right? From your vantage, talk to us about, how do you see MSMEs, now especially the MSMEs in Gujarat, driving India's growth story, the story of entrepreneurship and driving innovation?
Melody, we all know, and this is a fact that we all appreciate very much. The MSMEs form the backbone of the economy in the country. One of the less appreciated facts, we talk about multiple sectors in the country. There's the IT sector, there's the automobile sector. The MSME sector in itself contributes to more than 1/3 of the GDP. And more than 40% of the exports of our country, they are contributed to by the MSME. So it's obviously something that is very important for the economy. Now, just looking at the sheer size of the MSME segment, it's more than $1 trillion in terms of the sheer size. And if you look at the entire globe, there are only 16 countries across the globe that have a GDP higher than this. So that's just to put this in perspective. Now, if I look down, let's say in next few years, let's say over a 5 to 7 year timeline, what I envisage, what I see is that the sector will contribute more than 40% of our GDP. And in terms of the absolute growth, we are talking about at least another $1 trillion added to the economy, just by the MSME sector. So that's the kind of growth we are talking about. So as the MSME sector grows, it adds to the hinterland, to the growth in the hinterland. And more than 50% of the MSMEs are actually registered in tier 2s and tier 3s and beyond. So that's the kind of growth I envisage or I see led by the MSMEs in the country.
And some of the growth is also fueled by some of the initiatives that Mr. Barhat also mentioned. Like, for instance, this entire initiative, which is, linked to the the Atmanirbhar Bharat, and now you have the Atmanirbhar Gujarat initiative, and, through that, all the incentivization which is being provided. But apart from that, from your vantage, can you talk about the kind of support or the kind of, supporting framework that you envisage will be needed as we move ahead, especially as we aim to get globally competitive?
For the MSMEs, and again, coming from the benefit and the privilege of interacting with many of them, there's one thing that we need to appreciate is there's an amazing amount of entrepreneurial zeal, the energy that is there, the capability that is there. So more than the support, what I think the MSMEs need is enablement. And this enablement, so we are not talking about particularly about giving them something. We are just talking about enabling them do something better, because there are aspects that they just need to be introduced to. Now, if we think of it, and maybe we can think of it through the life cycle journey of an MSME, and starting from a micro to a medium to a small to a medium kind of growth. The first and foremost thing is the formalization of the business itself. If you see, there are close to maybe 70 million MSMEs across the country. But, and like Rajesh ji was mentioning earlier, there's this Udyam where we can register, and in our knowledge, only about 12 to 15% of the MSMEs are actually registered there. So formalization is the first step towards doing anything more material. And when I say formalization, it's not only just in terms of registration. It also enables them to be visible. It also enables them, gets them access to the credits that they need, gets them access to the certifications that they need. Formalization also means, in many cases, they come with very unique value propositions, very unique business concepts, getting them the IPRs, these registrations that they need. So first part is, how do we formalize this? The second part, and this is where, Rajesh ji also mentioned, there's a lot of work that the government is already doing in terms of providing access to funds, providing access to all kinds of support. So there are those clusters that we talked about. Our Gujarat has PCIPRs and so on. The central government is talking about one district, one product kind of. So the entire approach to creating the ecosystem for them to leverage and grow on the back of that. So that's the second aspect of the growth framework that we should have. Possibly the third and equally important emerging aspect is what we can call the digital enabler. And digital over the last few years has become one of the key levelers for MSMEs. Now, for someone to focus on going to the domestic market or the global market, they can leverage digital in multiple forms. And that's one aspect, being aware of what capabilities the digital solutions bring in, and using the digital bandwagon to grow. That's another aspect that the MSMEs need support or guidance on.
You mentioned formalization, which is an important part, but the onus for formalization very often lies with the MSME, and that essentially is the stumbling block, because that entails paperwork, that entails maybe a bigger workforce, that entails a CA enlisting services,
Right.
Which becomes very difficult, right, for MSMEs, and especially when you have events such as COVID, or you have global headwinds and stuff like that. So, how do they overcome that? Like, what is the incentive for them? Yes, you mentioned that, there are, once they formalize, so many other things will fall into place. But, how do you think that behavioral change can be triggered?
The trigger to my mind is the actually the aspiration for growth. I think there's a supply side of all the facilitation that is there, and this supply side comprises the government. There's the central government, there's the state government, there are all these industry bodies, the CII, ASSOCHAM, all of them. So there is a supply side of all the facilitation, and then we have the need side, which is the MSMEs, the entrepreneurs, and so now there is somewhere an invisible wall of unfamiliarity between the two sides. And we have seen entrepreneurs who have been able to cross this wall, jump over this wall. And once they get introduced to what is available from the supply side, then they move into the next orbits. So the driver has to be the aspiration. There has to be more visibility of these schemes. And once the visibility is there, the hunger is obviously there on the demand side. Then they lap it up.
So, tell us, how did Symphony, jump that wall? And, you have a presence in 60 countries, Also talk to us about the sort of impact that, schemes like Make in India movement, have on such companies like Symphony, which operate globally.
So interestingly, Melanie, for us, and we are based in Gujarat, based in India, and we have always been very keen to go to the global market from India. And like you mentioned, we go to more than 60 countries across the globe, including some of the most advanced developed countries across the globe. We have always been focused on Make in India. And for over the last 20 years or so, we have been supplying to all these economies, all these countries, from our manufacturing facilities in India. So one clear aspect from our journey is that when you focus on the global market with the right sort of level of quality, innovation, and overall reliability, the market responds. We have ourselves been consistently reaching out to these markets, improvising on our products that we developed for the domestic market, improvising them to suit the requirements of the global market, consistently reaching out to customers in those markets, and that has helped us. So again, going into our journey, what we have seen working for us, and then what can be taken as a learning from that journey by the MSMEs, there has to be a clear focus on quality that can meet the global standards. There has to be a consistent approach to the market. You cannot, it may not be year one when you go there and people just rush to lap up your product. That doesn't happen. But you have to be consistent. You have to keep attempting. And then you have to be reliable. Because global markets feed substantially on reliability, given all kinds of risks involved, transits, commodity prices, the currency risk and all that, they need reliability. And if you can provide that, that helps.
The one thing that is often missing in the discourse when we talk about MSMEs, and perhaps something that is kind of left to the sidelines, is often women in MSMEs, and furthering the development of women-led MSMEs. Talk to us about how that can be enabled, and in a state like Gujarat, which already is infused with so much entrepreneurial spirit, what are the strengths that it has, which can be leveraged to get more women into the ecosystem?
And an interesting thing that we noted as part of our journey, and something that statistics also bears out about the Indian ecosystem, a good proportion of our MSMEs are actually led by women. I think India has close to 15 million or so MSMEs, which are led by women entrepreneurs. That's a phenomenal number. Now, including, so let's say we have a model where we go to manufacturers who produce goods for us as part of our designs, and a few of those manufacturing units are actually led by women. And we have seen them work as much shoulder to shoulder as compared to our other manufacturing partners. So that's something that, in our observation, women-led MSMEs are definitely doing as well, maybe at times better, more reliable, more trusted than what we in our own ecosystem see in the overall MSME universe. Now, coming back to what can help women-led MSMEs grow faster or focus more, there could be a few things. One, we earlier talked about the entire formalization thing. One aspect of the facilitation, besides formalization, is the supply chain facilitation. In our experience, we have seen a lot of women entrepreneurs who are very good at the niche that they work in, whether it's the field of textiles, apparel, art, handicrafts, amazing at the core work that they do. But they need support in the supply chain. I have made something beautiful. Here's the piece, and this is wow. But how do I take it to the market? How do I ensure that it moves out of my village or my town to the global marketplace and gets delivered? So the entire supply chain is something that needs particular sorting. Another aspect we have noted is upskilling. Again, most of these women entrepreneurs, they start with very good core capabilities, but then that's good possibly at a micro scale. When you want to go to a medium or a large scale, then this has to evolve. It has to evolve in terms of the tastes, the geographies you want to cater to, the different segments you want to cater to. So upskilling is important. Now, one thing we noted was many of these women entrepreneurs, they are, for social or family reasons, they are rooted, they are linked to the locations, tied to the locations that they operate from. And hence upskilling becomes all the more difficult because sometimes you have to be part of the global chain. So how do we bring the entire upskilling aspect to their doorsteps so that they can actually break free, so that they can go to the next tier of their own skill and their capability? That's one thing that again we have found is missing, that can be brought forward. And possibly the third aspect is how do we get them into the mode of discovery? And when I say discovery, increasingly we see the market going to marketing-led brands to discovery-focused brands. And as more and more marketplace channels, including what we have as ONDC, for example, or GEM, for example, consumers are okay to discover new products, to discover new brands. But how do we enable these women entrepreneurs get discovered is one aspect that we can focus more on. So possibly, in addition to the framework that we talked about in general for the MSMEs, possibly these are the dimensions we should look at in facilitating more women-led MSMEs to come forward.
So what I was saying is that women know this, right? And other MSMEs also, they're aware of the fact that, they need to upskill. The fact is that, they need to be discovered. Their products need to be discovered. But, what is the on-way? What stops them from moving into that trajectory? Because, data bears out that, 99% of the MSME ecosystem, if you look at it India-wide, then, 99% of it is micro, and it continues to stay micro throughout its life cycle. So really, how, the challenge is to go from that micro to push yourself out. And you said, it has to come, aspiration has to come, formalization has to come, but these are all stumbling blocks. So, and you see that there is an ecosystem approach, there is a facilitation, there is even drive, but somewhere we are not able to make that shift. Why is that?
Again, going by my limited experience on this, there's this formalization, facilitation that we talked about. For many of the MSMEs to jump into the next year, the entire marketing story or the discovery story has to be stronger. That is one aspect we find missing, both in terms of the support available and in terms of the readiness or understanding of these entrepreneur-led organizations, the entrepreneur-led entities, to adopt.
So are you saying there's an information asymmetry?
There is an adoption asymmetry, yes, including information asymmetry. That's for sure there. So the facilities are there. For example, we have DC MSME that helps market access, marketing support and all for MSMEs. But I don't think even 1% of the MSMEs are aware of the kind of support available. There's ONDC that takes care of most of the stuff besides what you are core capable of. But I don't think even 0.1% of the MSMEs have explored ONDC yet. There's this entire ZED, the zero defect, zero effect approach to quality that the government has taken. Less than 0.5% of our MSMEs, just on the quality side, for example, are registered with BIS. A similar number is possibly registered under the gold or platinum categories on ZED. Now, many of the MSMEs are not even aware that this is their journey towards building the quality. Under the bronze category, they are entitled to self-declare and self-register. So it's not as onerous. But how do we bring this information, this knowledge to the MSMEs is a key part. One of the limitations, which I'm happy also to say that this is being broken over the last 2-3 years, but one of the limitations I see is many of our central government and sometimes even state government policies, they are more readily accessible in English and Hindi, but not in vernacular. The internet, the YouTubes, the Instagrams and social media, they are more readily accessible in English and Hindi, but most of the MSMEs, as we said earlier, they are in the hinterland. If we can make most of this stuff, most of the facilitation available in the vernacular, in the local languages, that would be another big help to, this is all there, but how do you know that this is all there and access to it? That's another important piece that needs to be plugged in. As I said, again, happy to see that in the last 2-3 years, a lot of this is moving in that direction, but I think still some distance to go.
And hopefully through discussions like these, forums like these, with ideas and knowledge exchange, I think, somewhere, it will go down, percolate deeper, and hopefully, the ecosystem shifts that people like Mr. Barhat are attempting to bring, the knowledge base that, people like you bring in. And then, of course, we have so many MSMEs also who are sitting here, they take away from conversations such as these. Thank you very much on that note, Mr. Amit Kumar, for joining us and for sharing your thoughts.
Thanks, Melanie. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, thank you very much for Economic Times for organizing such a great event for the MSME, which is very close to my heart, and also for inviting me to be a part of this event. This event has added on to a great memorable moment for MSMEs. It has been a privilege to be a part of this event along with all the other prominent people present here. Dear friends, in the past few days, globalization of small and medium enterprise has received a lot of attention internationally. The economics of developing the countries are heavily dependent on these firms, which make them one of the reasons for an international focus. The micro, small and medium enterprises, that is MSME sector, is an industry that has become a game changer for the Indian economy. As per KPMG November 2022 report, India's MSME sector has played a very crucial role in making the country the world's 5th largest economy. According to the data shared by the government, there are more than 63.8 million MSME, bringing in over 111 million jobs, contributing 30% of the country's GDP. The share of MSMEs in India's total exports was estimated to be around 48%. Even though MSME are largest contributor to the Indian economy, this sector continues to lack of terms of institutional support and avenues for upskilling, which will assist them in their growth journeys. Dear friends, participation in export gives MSME exports to global trends and stimulates innovative ideas and design. Export opportunity is the point in which identifiable consumer demand meets the feasibility of satisfying the requested product or services. In the field of export business, specific criteria need to be met to a move from an idea to an opportunity, which we recently heard from Mr. Amit Kumar. It begins with the developing the right mindset, a mindset where the export business sharpens their senses to the customer needs and their requirements. Going to be global, according to me, is no longer a prerogative of only the large corporate houses. It is not a prerogative of large corporate houses. Reasons are plenty for small and medium enterprises to cater the cross-border markets. Before undertaking an international expansion strategy, understanding the firm's readiness to engage an international business is crucial. Due to saturation tendencies in the domestic market and dependency on a few key business accounts, most SMEs need international engagements in their B2C markets. Now, exporting the product is also a matter of prestige for SMEs. The emerging global competition brings ample opportunities and natural perception of growth potential in foreign markets. The daring enterprise eventually acquire new skills and technologies from their foreign counterparts, enabling their competitiveness. Moreover, the international market expansion helps distribute the risk by diversifying into the different cost model and profit structures of foreign market operations. There are many challenges MSMEs have to face for expanding their business to the global market. First, lack of adequate finance is the major problem. The SMEs operate with the smaller accounts of finance and they always realize smaller profits. This makes it hard for them to cover their export needs and to finance unexpected costs on an export business. Also, insufficient or inadequate market research and analysis is also one of the problems faced by the SMEs. SMEs rarely undertake market research and analysis. Rather, they rely on just noticing that someone is supplying the material at some places and basically they try to cover that market. Most commonly, they use information from the newspapers and other media. Such information is not enough to guide a proper success of business. Rather, they act as a signals for relevant potential. Then, the failure to undertake such market research will mean that the business will meet unexpected cost or constraints. Friends, now these competitive conditions are a necessary factor to consider. When a business aims survival at its best levels, SME do not have the necessary understanding or a mindset of the competitive conditions and therefore operate blindly and hence this lowers the probability of the success in the export industry. Also, globalization of SME faces technological, cultural, regulatory, and marketing challenges. Therefore, SMEs should try to overcome these challenges to reach the global market. Now, I'll explain what are the benefits for the MSMEs while going global. MSME has a constraints or mindset that export or globalization is the job of a big company or large companies. So basically, they don't easily venture into the export. They say that we will, in the condition that we will fail if we go to the export. How can we do the export? How can we find out the market? How can we find out the customer? But first and foremost benefit is that MSME can create the new revenue potential and also by taking MSME's business to global level, they get access to a much larger base of customers. If their product or service is a success, they can enjoy increased revenues from these new customers, even if they have flooded their markets domestically. Even though you are comfortable with the domestic market, you should venture for the export market. Globalizing could be exactly the shot of life for MSME needs to take its revenue to the new heights. Dear friends, another excellent benefit of taking MSMEs their business to global market, they get access to a new pool of potential employees with unique skills and markets. While going global, MSMEs will be able to get a chance to learn a new culture. Getting information about a new place can help make their organization more well rounded. Having an understanding of people who are not from their country will give them a new perspective on relations with customers and may even help them work better with domestic customers and benefits. Also, there is a chance to exposure of foreign investment opportunities. Foreign investment can be extremely valuable for their business, as many companies already know. My friend Rajiv Gandhi will agree with what I'm saying, that there is a lot of foreign investment opportunity if you go to global. While MSME goes global, they can easily learn more about these investment opportunities and how beneficial they can be for their company. Businesses that can successfully go global and market their offerings to a totally different population will enjoy the prestige of calling themselves an international company, which will improve the reputation of the company. Taking the business global to the global market allows them to diversify their markets so their revenue sources are more stable. Also, different strategies to be identified and adopted by MSMEs to find the right market for the exports. A study published by the Institute of International Economics concludes that exporters are winners by definition because they have proven that they can think out of the box and successfully compete in their global marketplace. Friends, direct export is a crucial part of the SME business development, and unfortunately, many SMEs are hesitant to take even a small step to it. A good starting point is a knowledge of the political, economics, and social and technological environments and the demand supply gap for the chosen product and chosen market and the competition in the available market. Like all businesses looking to grow and are profitable, SMEs need to make sure to understand their global market very well to identify the potential. A smart global market expansion strategy is to begin by trailing one area at a time. So, to start with, narrow down the possibility to just one territory and move forward. Find out in which countries your products could have the largest potential. Access the market potential for your products and service in those countries. Conduct specific market research to obtain concrete and accessible market potential. Now, the product quality has a huge effect on the success of your export business as it matters to the customer both in and outside your country, and it really affects the image of your business and your country. So, SMEs have to make sure that their products not only to meet the international customers' needs, but also according to the relevant regulations, as well as the products must be of a very high quality and of the international standards. Now, product innovation provide enterprises with a competitive advantage by introducing a new or a significantly improved product. Process and innovation reduce the unit cost and enhance the productivity through changes in techniques, equipment, and software. Now, new products might help firms gain some market power, which could then facilitate their access to the international markets. Also, the product innovations are the driving force for the long run competitiveness of many industries and markets. True incentives is often recognized in the marketplace and it can help build a valuable reputation and help establish a market position internationally. Now, when it comes to international trade, every market is different both economically, culturally, and as well as the policy regulations. Also, it is very crucial that knowledge about the market access, like trade barriers, bilateral trade agreements, export regulations, standards and procedures, shipping cost, and encounters. Similarly, a product design, quality, or a market strategy that works in one country may not work in another country. Prepare international style marketing and product documentation. The importance of this step is very often understood, and also the consequently many SME are ill prepared for such things. The most difficult aspect of manufacturing and export business may be the logistics involved in getting a product manufactured somewhere and selling it somewhere else. Now, getting on board a worldwide freight forwarder can help all import export businesses save time and worry by acting as a transport agent and transferring your cargo, and thus help you get your products from the manufacturer to the warehouses at a very competitive price. And furthermore, this can greatly reduce the trouble of starting an import export business in the realm of international trade. Research, as rightly said by Mr. Amit Kumar, and the local currency where you are going to export your product, and consult with the experts on the import of currency, impact of the currency fluctuations on your business. You can also consult a foreign exchange advisor or an accountant on how to mitigate your foreign currency risk. Many small businesses that export agree a fixed rate of point of the sale, protecting them from the currency depreciations. And this can be very key to your business successes. Before starting the export, always learn the legal norms, policies, and trade agreements related documentation of the countries with whom you are going to deal. Try to understand the country's export rules and regulations to avoid trouble when selling or sending the products. Check whether your product complies with the overseas trading norms and guidelines. Get the intellectual property certificate and also the registration for the trademark with the policies, and also protect the goods from the getting copied by the overseas market. It is very important that one maintains good relations with the customer, as good customer services not only just help acquire the new foreign buyers, but also you can retain them. And by word of mouth, existing customers who are happy with your products and services can even bring you new customers, and thus help you in expansion of your foreign business. Furthermore, you can also obtain the valuable feedback in the process of providing the customer services. Now, as I told earlier, participation in international exhibition by taking the advantage of international cooperation scheme, as Mr. Bharat has said, introduced by Ministry of MSME for enhancing the marketability of products and services in the MSME sector by facilitating visit and the participation in the international exhibition and trade fairs, and also the buyer sellers meet at abroad. Also, you should also take participation of international conference, seminars and workshops in India also for a new technology development infusion, as well as the exporting business opportunities and prospects of joint venture. Once in the export business activities, a continuous review of the entry mode is necessary, since ground realities change quickly. Knowledge is the power to stay ahead of local and global competitions. Let me give you my example. By 2011-12, I was hardly exporting, and I was facing a tremendous competition from the China market and as well as the local markets. I tried that there should be some reason how can I compete China. I started going for some organized research. I enrolled myself in the university in 2011, and on a management and MSME, and I completed my PhD in 2018. Friends, learning make you very much expert into that. Um, I, by, I was advised by the then Chief Minister that I should release my book on this thesis. And I wrote a book, The Competitive Strategies for Indian SMEs, Lessons from China. And this book is related to my PhD study. Friends, why I am telling you, being a very small and micro organization, today we are exporting more than 50 countries all over for all our products, and we get a lot of comforts by say of cash flow and revenues. And my second book, recently published, was Global SMEs and Strategies for Sustainable Growth. This book evaluates the business environment of SMEs of 15 selected economies like Australia, Argentina, Asia Pacific, Bangladesh, Canada, China, European Union, France, Germany, India, New Zealand, South Africa, Turkey, UK, and USA. This book comprises many valuable information of all these countries because I have been exporting to all these countries and also have a probable measures for the growth and sustainability of the global SME. Both books are available at the AMA library and also on Amazon. So these are the various points where MSME can think of expanding their business globally. And if you follow this slowly and gradually, you can establish a big business. Once again, thank you very much for inviting me and thank you so much for patient hearing.
All right, so our topic for today is Make in India, Make for Globe, enabling MSMEs to develop global competitiveness and to tap new market opportunities. And Ami's already introduced the panel, so I just want to begin and get right into it. I want to understand the challenges. Mr. Mahendra here, he represents the interests of traders. We have Rajiv, who represents, FICCI. We also have with us Mr. Paresh Mehta, who represents the Federation of Indian Export Organizations, Apurva Shah, who represents the Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And आपसे शुरुआत करते हैं महेंद्र जी, ट्रेडर्स या स्मॉल बिजनेसेस की दृष्टि से अगर हम देखें तो किस तरह के चैलेंजेस सामने हमें दिखाई देते हैं, स्पेशली व्हेन इट कम्स टू बीइंग मतलब ग्लोबल कंपेटिटिवनेस में, और किस तरह की कठिनाइयों का सामना इन्हें करना पड़ता है, और जो गवर्नमेंट का मेक इन इंडिया इनिशिएटिव है उससे इकोसिस्टम में क्या परिवर्तन आया है?
देखो, सही बात तो यही है कि ट्रेडर्स लोगों को जो कठिनाइयाँ हैं उनको आजकल राज्य सरकारों द्वारा और केंद्र सरकार द्वारा कहीं भी सहूलियत देने की तैयारी हुई है। और आज हमें एक्सपोर्ट हर जगह पे बढ़ाना है, घर घर एक्सपोर्ट, हर एक्सपोर्ट की बात है, जैसे मोदी की बात चलती है, घर घर मोदी जैसी, ऐसे एक्सपोर्ट हमें ऐसे नहीं कि ज़्यादा में ज़्यादा करना पड़ेगा। जो इनके लिए हमें सबसे वजह है कि हमें काउंसिल के मेंबर होना चाहिए और हर जगह पे जहाँ जहाँ भी हो वहाँ पे टेलर मीट की मार्केट के अंदर पार्टिसिपेट करना चाहिए। आज वसा जी ने कई चीज़ें बताई है, इस चीज़ों के अंदर जो हम शामिल होंगे, आज मैं कन्फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडिया का 16 साल से चेयरमैन हूँ। आई एम 85 ईयर्स ओल्ड। 16 साल से मैं चेयरमैन हूँ। मैं आसाम से लेके गौहती से लेके अरुणाचल तक मैं हर जगह पे घूमता हूँ और हमारी बातें हमेशा ट्रेडर्स के साथ रहती है कि ट्रेडर्स की कठिनाइयाँ हैं वो हमारी कठिनाई है। हम इस कठिनाइयों को हर एक सरकार के अंदर उनको सम्मिलित करते हैं और हर जगह पे ट्रेडर्स एक्सपोर्ट वाले हो, इंपोर्ट वाले हो, हर एक चीज़ के लिए हम तैयार रहते हैं और हमें मदद मिलती है। मैं आशा और विश्वास है कि हम आपको द्वारा ये ऐसे सेमिनार होते रहेंगे तो सरकार अच्छी तरह से जागेगी।
और किस तरह की कठिनाइयाँ होती है कि ग्लोबल मार्केट में कम्पीट नहीं?
देखो, ऐसा है कि आज लोकल मार्केट में हम लोग इकोनॉमी का प्रश्न होता है। इकोनॉमी का प्रश्न के अंदर हमें बैंकों के साथ भी अच्छा हो सकता है, लेकिन सरकार जितनी हमारे साथ रहेगी इतना हम बिजनेस में ला सकेंगे, क्योंकि हम तो ट्रेडर्स हैं।
तो आप कह रहे हैं सरकार साथ नहीं
है? सरकार देती है हर जगह। आज गुजरात सरकार की बात करूँ तो गुजरात में बहुत जो भी कठिनाई थी उसमें कम करने के लिए बहुत अच्छी तरह मदद करने चालू की है। ऐसे महाराष्ट्र में भी है, हर जगह पे ऐसी बात हुई है। आज आप समझो कि जो उत्तर प्रदेश थी तो उत्तर प्रदेश में हमें सबसे ज़्यादा मदद मिलती है, ऐसे हम कहते थे, क्योंकि हमारे वहाँ पे लखनऊ में, कानपुर में, हर एक सिटी में जो हमारे ट्रेडर्स है तो अच्छी तरह से भी एक्सपोर्ट करना चालू कर दिया है।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. If I have to bring you in, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, you know, Gujarat is a significant contributor to exports. And what's the situation now? If you could explain to us, especially with the global headwinds and, you know, the situation that we have, if we are to boost exports into the state, you know, what is the kind of blueprint that you think we need?
Gujarat has always been in the forefront of any businesses in the country. So we have got a lead, but at the same time, small businesses need to have proper information for themselves to take them from level A to level B.
Right.
You know, a micro at some time has to become small, has to become medium, and there has to be a plan for them to take it further. There is lot of facilities, there are a lot of facilities available by the government, central government, state government. But by definition, a small business is small. For them to access information on what can they really get so that their business is benefited, or sometimes how to meet the gap between to manage the competition. I mean, Jaimin Bhai he mentioned that, you know, he faced a lot of headwinds in trying to compete with China. Then he did a survey, he did a thesis, he got his doctorate on that. So all this needs to be done. In his case, he was determined to take it himself, you know, and go against. But at same time, you know, people are stressed in their doing business. They might not get so much time.
Correct.
There has to be information that is easily available to all of these people, and with that information available, how to use that information and take it further. Another thing what I would like to say is removing the quantification on a qualitative note. SMEs sometimes, by the virtue and the fear that will they survive, will they not survive, they all the time thinking of whether they will be able to survive the competition, etc. They go on continuously drop prices. I would not say be competitive. You know, they drop prices in their fear and desire to do business. Small businesses should learn to say no. It's not going to actually impact their survival. But if they learn to say no and they organize their business properly, and they will actually be able to do a little lesser business, but an extremely high qualitative quality business. So this is also one of the things which people should look into. Besides, of course, there has to be ease in getting information from the government side.
All right, so, you know, remove the information asymmetry, and of course the other thing that you're saying in terms of strategy, you know, make sure that your cost.
Yes,
you
I
know,
exceeded what your question was, but it was in my mind, so I just mentioned.
You know, taking off from where Mr. Gandhi has left off, Mr. Vijay Mangukia, you're the regional chairman for the Gems and Jewelry Export Promotion Council, and you're also a partner at Dhani Jewelers. You know, diamonds polished in Gujarat, they are sold all over the world. So, you know, one would assume that we have global competitiveness.
Yes.
Right, in this. So, but now what more can be done? You know, how do you take that next step further? You know, if you have to boost, you know, this sector even more.
पहले तो डायमंड सेक्टर है ना, वो बैंकिंग के अंदर पहले रेड अलर्ट में था. तो एसबीआई ने लोन देना चालू किया सबसे पहले, बाद में और बैंकिंग आई और लोन अवेलेबल हुई. तो ये प्रेशियस सेक्टर है और इसके अंदर हमें डिपेंडेंट रहता है माइनिंग, जो माइनर्स है उनके ऊपर. तो जैसे अभी फ़िलहाल बहुत सारे मुद्दे चल रहे हैं, माइनिंग की तकलीफ़ें है, तो हमें रफ़ का सोर्सेज कम मिल रहा है, तो हमें थोड़ी एक्सपेंसिव भी बाई करनी पड़ रही है और माइनर्स से. मैटर एक रॉ मटेरियल की होती है, उसको गुड्स कंप्लीट करने की होती है, उसके बाद उसके सेल की होती है. तो जीजेईपीसी का बहुत बड़ा रोल है इसके अंदर. जितनी भी रफ इंपोर्ट्स होती है वो सारी जीजेईपीसी के अंडर में इंपोर्ट्स होती है. जो एक्सपोर्ट होते हैं उसके सारे फिगर्स, सारी मॉनिटरिंग बाय जीजेईपीसी होती है. तो हम लोग नेक्स्ट स्टेप के अंदर ये चीज़ें इन्वॉल्व कर रहे हैं कि जैसे जैसे मार्केट आगे बढ़ा जा रहा है, जैसे स्किल सबको चाहिए, तो हमारे यहाँ से IDI करके इंडियन डायमंड इंस्टीट्यूट है, वहाँ पे बहुत सारे कोर्सेज हमने डिज़ाइन किए जिसकी वजह से स्किल वर्कर्स डेवलप किए जाएँ। ज्वेलरी के अंदर काउंट किया जाए तो पुरानी प्रथा से जो बंगाली वर्कर्स थे वहाँ से ज्वेलरी बनती थी, तो आज आप देखोगे तो 40% रेशियो है वो यहाँ की लोकल पब्लिक है, उन्होंने कवर किया है क्योंकि वो लोग खुद भी स्किल बेस्ड हुए। उसका एक ही रीज़न है कि हम यहाँ पे स्किल के जो कोर्सेज है वो चला रहे। उसके बाद जो लोगों को एक्सपोर्ट करना है, जब से मैं रीजनल चेयरमैन बना हमने शायद 10 से 12 बैचेस किए कि 500 to 550% है जो नए एक्सपोर्टर्स मार्केट में हम लेके आए कि उनको एक्सपोर्ट सिखाया हमने। और लास्ट 2 साल के अंदर आप देखोगे तो मोर देन 150 कंपनीज सूरत के अंदर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग आई है ज्वेलरी की, जो नए मैन्युफैक्चरर्स है, शायद वो आउटसाइड ऑफ इंडिया थे या बॉम्बे थे या कलकत्ता थे, वहाँ से मैन्युफैक्चरर यहाँ पे माइग्रेट हुए हैं। तो स्किल डेवलप हो रही है, वर्कर्स मिल रहे हैं, अपने पोटेंशियल दिख रहा है सबको। तो हमारे नए स्टेप डे टू डे ये हो रहे हैं कि हमने लास्ट वर्ल्ड की सबसे पहली बायर सेलर मीट सूरत के अंदर डिज़ाइन की थी और वहाँ पे 30 बायर्स आउट ऑफ इंडिया आए थे और उसमें माइकल हिल जैसी ब्रांड्स भी थी। तो ये हमारे लिए एक अचीवमेंट था। तो हम GJPC हर एक स्टेप पे नए दौर पे नया काम करना, चैलेंज लेना वो करती है और नए लोगों को स्किल देके उनको एक्सपोर्टर बनाने का प्रयास करती रहती है।
राइट, आपने बहुत अच्छी बात बताई और एक प्ले बुक आपने बताया कि किस तरह से आपने कोर्सेज डेवलप करके नए एक्सपोर्टर्स तैयार किए हैं आपके क्षेत्र में। आई वांट टू ब्रिंग यू इन मिस्टर मेहता. Can this playbook, how do you see this playbook being replicated? For instance, they have managed to do it as far as, diamonds are concerned. Do you see potential in Gujarat, if you look at the ecosystem and, the export landscape that exists, which are the kind of sectors that you see, where similar playbooks could be implemented to greater success?
This playbook can be accessed subject to the product-to-product categories.
Right.
Like what they did it only for the diamonds.
Right.
Same can be like in Gujarat, we have engineering. We have good engineering, Rajkot, Jamnagar. Then we have some pharmaceuticals in the Ahmedabad region. So if specific, because they have all the big industries also depend on the small, medium, large enterprises.
Right.
Those who are doing their job works or subcontracting kind of a things. So they can be aware of that policy. So from that playbook, they can, the policy, what are the requirements, what are the international standards, they can get the knowledge of that. So that could be one of the good idea of the JJPC to making that kind of playbook, which is sector specific, so can be done for the other sectors also.
Okay. But in terms of the challenges, right, like for instance, global trade is driven by technology sectors, right, mostly like machinery, electronics, the automobile sector. The combined share of these three sectors is about 35% of global imports, which is worth around $7 trillion. And here our share, India's share, is less than 1%. So, how can MSMEs in textiles where Gujarat has strength? So, for instance, you mentioned engineering goods, but, say, for instance, textiles, pharmaceuticals, chemicals. How do you see, these being able to develop and enter into emerging markets?
So, as of today, government, state government, central government, even the local, they are having good policies and very encouraging and supporting. But awareness of the policies are not there, going to the grassroots level. So we wanted, as MSME, micro industry, he might be having 10 workers or 20 workers. Or the owner or the family, they are working on the floor
right.
of the company. So they are not spending much, won't be able to spend more time for the awareness of the new policies, new market uptrends, what are the different, say, new technologies. So that should be awareness coming back to them through that one kind of playbook, books or something, or some government policies, or some calling them, or in the district level, city level, or the area level, where the industry clusters are there.
Right.
And make some seminars or some their involvement into the new policy, and make them aware that these are the facilities available from the government and from the organizations like FICCI, FIO, and other organizations.
Right. What is FIO doing specifically in the Western region to, enable this sort of knowledge sharing?
For the Western region, just I'm giving the broad awareness of the FIO that we have almost 250 events every year, all over India, which is including buyer-seller meet overseas and reverse buyer-seller. That is, we invite the foreign customers to India and making them matchmaking between the product as per the product requirements. So lastly, if you see the last 3 or 4 Gujarat Vibrant, FIO was the partners in the reverse buyer-seller meet. Same we did this year with Indore. Indore, it was Global Investor Summit, where FIO had brought almost 70 overseas customers.
Right.
But that is for them organized by the MP government, which is still under West Region. And over that matchmaking was like 70 overseas compared to 300 local MP vendors, micro MSMEs have participated, and then we made the matchmaking.
Right.
So it was a discussion of almost like a 800 to 1,000 crore rupees of worth of trade. We don't know exact figures later on, but that was the trade was under discussion.
All right, so obviously all of that, you're trying to get over the information asymmetry by at least providing this sort of information. Apurva, I want to bring you in at this point. Now you've heard all of them speak. You represent the Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Let's spread the umbrella a little and talk of it from an India perspective. When you look at India and the state of MSMEs in the country, how do you see, or how would you map or rate their potential to develop global competitiveness? Especially when we have global giants are looking at a China plus one policy, especially in manufacturing. But when we look at global competitiveness, how do you rate our ability to be globally competitive?
The major advantage, I think, the Gujarat exporters in particular, I would say, we've got 2-3 ports very close. The major cost would be logistics.
Right.
So most of the Gujarat companies are benefiting from the logistics sides. The small disadvantages, I would say, for the small, where we as Gujarat Chamber represent, and I'm a medium company as well, so we export, is when you go for finance with the banks to get the knowledge for discounting, or different countries, you get different orders. The support system should improve. We have a help desk at Chamber, with SBI in fact. We have a full-time help desk at our premises, where we guide our members, we coordinate with the other chambers in different nations. We keep engaging with different chambers worldwide. Every week we have someone or the other. Last week we had Estonia, and they are meaningful. So what we do is we call a sector Pacific.
Right.
So if there is a pharma delegation, we connect the pharma guys, the textile, we connect the textile. As Rajiv mentioned, I would rightly quote, every company needs to step up and up. That is where the chambers come and play a role. Handhold them, give them the right guidance at the right time, keep updating the right policies, keep interacting with the government to engage the right policies or spread it to all the members.
Right.
Even though we send a lot of emails, I believe so quite a few do not even bother to open or see them. So it is vice versa both ways. When you send someone, they have to be proactive. And we, at the moment, as we are speaking, we're doing a digital course of learning in Chamber. A very nominal cost of, say, 5,000. It is not the cost. So we keep engaging their companies who are still not on the digital platform. And we being the largest regional chamber, we have around 260 associations, 250,000 members, 12 regional chambers, and 7,500 voting members. So we keep engaging with the small businesses. So for exports, I think it is both. The companies will all have to put their hands on and not expect everything for the government to help you at all times. At the same time, the ease of business at the ports has improved, but it still needs to improve. From the perspective, if you are exporting to Vietnam, a container is out in 24 hours. It doesn't happen in India, it takes 3 days.
Right.
So we are improving. I'm not saying we're improving, but there's still an edge where we need to go up.
Yeah, a road to go. But from what all of you are saying, the one thing that I'm hearing, and I'm hearing that again and again, is that there needs to be that motivation that needs to come from individuals. So my question is this: how are you going to incentivize, or how have you thought of incentivizing, good positive behavior, and do you think that could trigger, better opportunities, or trigger entrepreneurs to be more proactive when it comes to undertaking export or expanding their potential?
I think when you have the urge to do business, you automatically take on things. And it is natural that once the academia is done, the transition to business is where you have to put yourself in the right places, go to the right chambers, to the right forums.
So why is that not happening? I mean, all of you have put in the effort. You are saying that, there are people on the ground, you yourself, your organizations, Mr. He said that, as far as the gems and jewelry space is concerned, at least there seems to be some kind of a transition.
I think there is a transition, but at the moment it is worldwide slow. It's not just the exports of India that have gone slow.
Right.
But at the same time, I think the government is pushing for a lot of FTAs,
Right.
which is quite good at the moment because that is the need of the hour.
Right.
For example, sector specific, like garments. Why is Gujarat not doing as good as Bangladesh? Very simple. They have 9.2% duty edge against India.
Right.
So that is where the government role comes into play. You cannot have an efficiency of 10% in a voluminous industry. So the competitiveness changes when the policies between a nation and nation change. So I would not blame the garment industry here, but then the other nations have other opportunities of 10 to 12%, which is not possible.
They've leveraged their
And
opportunity.
we're doing the FTA. So we've done an FTA with Australia last year, which is helping our industries here from pharma or textile. So I think leaving the WTO and engaging the FTAs, which the government is doing, is quite a good thing for the nation and the industry.
All right. महेंद्र जी, आपसे एक सवाल है. हम इंटरनेशनल कोलैबोरेशंस किस तरह से उनको लेवरेज कर सकते हैं? How can Gujarat MSMEs utilize collaborations to
सही
improve
बात तो यही है
market reach?
कि जो भी ट्रेडर्स है, जो भी बिजनेस करना चाहते हैं, उसको बाहर सेलर्स मीट के अंदर सबसे ज़्यादा मिलना चाहिए. अगर मिलते रहेंगे तो आपको कहीं ना कहीं बिजनेस मिलेंगे. और जो एक्सपोर्ट काउंसिल है, तो एक्सपोर्ट काउंसिल बहुत मदद करती है. आज 40 प्रकार की भारत सरकार में एक्सपोर्ट काउंसिल है. इस एक्सपोर्ट काउंसिल का मेंबर होना चाहिए. अगर मेंबर होंगे तो आपको हर जगह की माहिती मिलती रहेगी. जो माहिती मिलेगी तो आपको बिजनेस कहाँ बढ़ाना है, किस जगह पे आपका जो माल है बिकने वाला है, तो आप जान सकेंगे. अगर इसे जान सकेंगे तो आपका बिजनेस हर जगह पे एक्सपोर्ट में अच्छी तरह से काम बढ़ सकेगा.
All right. Want to bring you in, sir. What are the growth prospects? Because you're part of the biosciences space. What are the growth prospects that you envisage for Gujarat MSMEs in the pharmaceutical and biotech sectors? And how do you think they can enter emerging markets? What are the strategies and insights that have been employed by Hester Biosciences Limited to navigate these global markets? If you could give us some of your insights on that.
Today, India, in terms of biotechnology, specifically, we make vaccines. So my knowledge is more on vaccines and pharmaceuticals. Today, India is one of the leading providers of vaccines, of pharmaceuticals, health products. So, in order to become competitive in the world market for any small, medium enterprise, the best thing is to get in touch with the Indian producers, the big producers of pharmaceuticals, the big producers of vaccines, biotechnology products, because as India has a big market worldwide, if they align themselves with these manufacturers first over here, automatically their alignment and their ability to sell in the world market would go up, because today we are anyway competitive. Today, if you look at Serum Institute, some of their vaccines, nearly 1/3 or half the world population is using their vaccines, or maybe 2/3 of the world population for their MMR, some vaccines. So we should first tap these companies in itself over here, and if we are able to successfully do business with them, automatically we will be able to do business worldwide. As far as we are concerned, we make animal vaccines, as I mentioned. There are many products that we take from small industries who produce for us, for example, bottles, some media preparations, certain other items, etc. What we do is we work with all these small and medium manufacturers. We talk to them, we build a repo, we exchange quality parameters, that what we want, what is in the world, and we also sit with them and try to talk to them on the pricing front, because a small and a medium enterprise needs to be, their hands need to be held by the big companies, and they need to be assured of a pricing. So if these people are assured of a pricing, they will put in more money in their own R&D, in their own zeal to do more business, and that will make these people grow. So we as an industry, we as a company, and I think overall this has to be one objective of the big companies, to handhold them, talk on quality, assure them prices. Then you can tell them that after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, we will decrease the prices. So then you can become more, look at other opportunities to sell. But this thing needs to be done by the big companies.
So basically mentorship.
Yes, absolutely. I could not get the word, but you just told the word, mentorship. Absolutely.
Okay.
जो जिस प्रकार से अभी देश का माहौल चल रहा है अपने बिजनेसमैनों को कि ई कॉमर्स और ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म पे अगर आप बिजनेस करने जाओगे तो इंटरनेशनल बिजनेस आपको ज़्यादा में ज़्यादा मिलेगा। आज आप समझो कि पूरे वर्ल्ड के अंदर $100, 100 पाउंड, 100 मार्क, यहाँ पे तो 2000, 1000, 5000, 10,000 का था। आज समझ लो कि 2000 की नोट गई है, अभी 2 साल ज़्यादा नहीं होगा, 500 की नोट भी जाने वाली है, समझ लेना। क्योंकि हम आज पूरे वर्ल्ड के अंदर डिजिटल के लिए हम अव्वल हैं, हमारा सबसे ज़्यादा डिजिटल बिजनेस है। डिजिटल बिजनेस करने से हमें विदेश में सबसे ज़्यादा बिजनेस मिलेगा। तो आप इसी तरह से करेंगे तो पूरा बिजनेस आपका बढ़ने वाला है, उसमें मैं कोई भी जात की मैं दरकार नहीं करता हूँ।
All right. But on the same note, Mahendra ji just spoke, Mr. Gandhi, I want to ask you, how have you employed innovation? How have you employed, as a company, technology to expand exports? And, how do you see the ability of businesses in Gujarat to be able to, is there a technology stumbling block that you see? Give us a sense from your vantage point.
Adaptation of technology is definitely an area where companies need to put in a lot of focus, because sometimes one buys technology and one is not able to adapt the technology. So that is an area which definitely one needs to put a little bit of a focus on. Today, technologies are available worldwide. If you go deep, you do a little bit of search on the internet, etc. And even why internationally. Today, talking about, again, vaccines and the animal vaccines that we produce, we have bought quite a few technologies from the government of India, from the Indian Veterinary Research Institute. To just share with you, any new technology that has come up in the next 10 years in veterinary vaccines, we have bought these technologies, and then one needs to keep these technologies, and at some point of time the use is always going to come, and you would be able to reap the benefits of those technologies and take it further. So keep an eye open and even do a little bit of study within India. There are enough people with talent, enough companies, enough institute who will be able to give technology and take the technology. And of course, international technologies are there, but within India, strive hard, take technologies, adapt them, keep them. At some point of time, they will be used and you will be able to reap those technologies.
To that point, Vijay Bhai, if you can come in, he mentioned platforms, right? E-commerce platforms. So I want to understand from you, digital transformation has become, such an important key thing when it comes to businesses. And, also in the gems and jewelry space, how do you see Gujarat's gem and jewelry MSMEs being able to leverage these e-commerce platforms and reach wider global audiences?
जेम्स एंड ज्वेलरी जो सेक्टर है उसके लिए ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म पे कोई भी प्रोडक्ट बेचना पहले बहुत चैलेंजिंग था, क्योंकि लोग बिलीव नहीं करते थे। गोल्ड है, डायमंड है, तो जैसे नई कंपनियां स्टार्टअप में पहले आई थी, ब्लू स्टोन आई, वैसे सारी जो कंपनी आई, तो लोगों को बिलीव होने लगा कि जो चीज़ दिख रही है वही आ रही है। ये सिर्फ इंडिया की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ आपको कि इसके अंदर ये बिक रहा है, पर ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड में आप देखोगे तो यूएसए ले लो, यूके ले लो, या यूरोप की कोई भी कंट्री के अंदर कोई भी चीज़ पकड़ लो, ऑनलाइन ज्वेलरी पहले से सेल होती आ रही है और लोग बिलीव कर रहे हैं। कोरोना के टाइम की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, तो आज मैं सूरत का एक एग्जांपल लूँ कि छोटे से छोटा कोई भी ब्रोकर है ना, वो भी आज यूएसए सेल कर रहा है। उसका रीज़न क्या है कि सोशल मीडिया इतना अपडेट हुआ, लोग फ्री बैठे थे तो लोगों ने सीख भी लिया कि कैसे कम्युनिकेशन किया जाए और ट्रांजैक्शन कैसे किया जाए, ट्रांसपोर्ट कैसे किया जाए, एक्सपोर्ट कैसे किया जाए। ज्वेलरी, गोल्ड, सिल्वर हो गया, डायमंड हो गया, कस्टम के थ्रू ही एक कस्टम का पार्ट आता है, उसके थ्रू ही वो एक्सपोर्ट होता है। तो कोई भी चीज़ है, अगर वो $50 की या $100 की या $50,000 की या $1,00,000 की है, उसका एक्सपोर्ट एक्सपेंस 25,000 से 40,000 रुपीज़ लगता है। तो ऑनलाइन सेक्टर के लिए वो चैलेंजिंग था। हमारे ओर से एक प्रयत्न हुआ कि हमने इंडिया पोस्ट को एक्टिव किया है इसके अंदर। इंडिया पोस्ट ने इनिशिएटिव लिया, ये प्रीशियस चीज़ों को विथ इंश्योरेंस एक्सपोर्ट करने के लिए उन्होंने हेल्प किया। तो आज उसका एक SOP सेट हुआ। हमने बहुत सारे सेमिनार्स किए पूरे इंडस्ट्रीज के अंदर, पूरे इंडिया के अंदर, सबको इंडिया पोस्ट का नॉलेज दिया। आज बहुत सारी कंपनियां इंडिया पोस्ट के द्वारा ऑनलाइन सेल कर रही है। ये हमारा एक बड़ा अचीवमेंट था। दूसरा ये था कि इंडिया पोस्ट अगर हम एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं तो 15 डेज से 28 डेज तक का टाइम लगता है डिलीवरी होने के अंदर। तो हमने एक शिपमैक्स करके एक प्राइवेट कंपनी है, उनके साथ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया। अब वो कंपनी है 2,200 रुपीज़ के अंदर 5 लाख रुपीज़ तक की कोई भी प्रोडक्ट है वो 8 डेज में US से डिलीवर कर देती है। तो ये ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म को एकदम प्रेशर मतलब इतना फास्ट एक्सप्रेशन मिला और सब लोग ने उसके अंदर भी इतना काम स्टार्ट कर दिया। आज लास्ट अगले मंथ के पहले ही हमने इस अहमदाबाद में भी सेमिनार किया था सारे ज्वेलर्स को लेके कि आप ऑनलाइन सेल कैसे कर सकते हो। तो ये सारे प्लेटफॉर्म हमने GJPC के द्वारा उनको पूरे किए हैं। और इसके अंदर एक चीज़ ये है कि गवर्नमेंट की ओर से हमने और भी बेनिफिट्स मांगे थे कि इसके लिए ड्यूटी ड्रॉबैक की फैसिलिटी ओपन की जाए। वैसे और जो बड़े अपने एक्सपोर्ट होते कस्टम के हाउस से, वहाँ पे तो ड्यूटी ड्रॉबैक है ही। उसके अलावा हमें एक्सपोर्ट गोल्ड की जो डिमांड थी, गुजरात के अंदर या पूरे इंडिया के अंदर 2 या 3 नॉमिनेटेड एजेंसी थी जो गोल्ड प्रोवाइड कर रही थी, ड्यूटी फ्री गोल्ड। तो आज हमने गुजरात के अंदर DIL करके डायमंड इंडिया लिमिटेड कंपनी है, उसको भी इंट्रोड्यूस किया है। उसके बाद येस बैंक को भी इंट्रोड्यूस किया, SBI को भी इंट्रोड्यूस किया। ये सारे कॉम्पिटिटर हुए और सारे लोग अभी एक्सपोर्ट गोल्ड प्रोवाइड करने लगे, जिसकी वजह से हम लोग ग्लोबल मार्केट को कंपटीशन दे सकें। आप समझोगे कि हम गोल्ड इंपोर्ट करते हैं तो हमें 12 to 15% ड्यूटी और एक्स्ट्रा चार्जेस लग जाते हैं। तो अगर यही चीज़ मैं USA में सेल करूंगा तो वो लोग इसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेंगे। तो मुझे ड्यूटी फ्री गोल्ड की रिक्वायरमेंट थी। तो लास्ट 2 साल के अंदर हमने इनिशिएटिव लेके इसको भी एक्टिव कर दिया। तो हम ग्लोबली कंपटीशन दे पाए, सर्विसेज दे पाए और उनके वजह से हमारा बिजनेस बढ़े, यही प्रयत्न हमारा रहता है। तो E-कॉमर्स है हमारे लिए बेस्ट प्लेटफॉर्म हुआ। आज B2C नहीं, B2B के लिए भी हमारा प्लेटफॉर्म ओपन हो गया। आज बहुत बड़ी बड़ी डील्स है वो ऑनलाइन हो रही है और आगे बहुत सारा इसके अंदर इम्प्रूवमेंट आएगा, वैसा हम प्रयत्न कर रहे हैं।
आप बता सकते हैं कितना प्रतिशत बिजनेस जो है वो ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म थ्रू जैसे जेम्स एंड ज्वेलरी का है, एक अंदाजा दे सकते हैं कितना ऑनलाइन बिजनेस इससे हो रहा है?
फिलहाल दोनों ओर से आप देखोगे तो जो रफ इंपोर्ट होती है उसका सिर्फ आपको नॉलेज दे दूं कि रफ इंपोर्ट होती है तो वो डायरेक्टली इंपोर्ट नहीं होती है। हमने GJPC ने एक स्पेशल नोटिफाइड जोन एरिया बनाया हुआ है जिसके अंदर सारी फैसिलिटीज़ हैं। तो ये सारे जो बिग प्लेयर्स हैं और जो भी MSME सेक्टर के अंदर आते हैं वो लोग अपना रफ का व्यूइंग किया जाता है। रफ ऐसी चीज़ नहीं है कि आपने ऑनलाइन चेक किया और आप परचेज कर सको, उसको मैन्युअली हाथ से देखना पड़ता है। तो वो स्पेशल नोटिफाइड जोन का एरिया हमने डिज़ाइन किया है, बॉम्बे के अंदर भी किया है, सूरत के अंदर भी है। तो ये सारे लोग आते हैं, उसको व्यूइंग करते हैं और वो सारी चीज़ें वापस चली जाती है। वो बेल्जियम से आई है या दुबई से आई है या कहीं से भी आई है, और यहाँ से फिर उसकी बिडिंग होती है, तो फिर वो ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म हो गया। तो जो जितनी भी रफ इंपोर्ट होती है एग्जैक्टली उसको ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म से इंपोर्ट किया जाता है, वैसा ही बोल सकते हैं हम लोग। क्योंकि अपने गवर्नमेंट ने एक इनिशिएटिव लिया था कि ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म से जो भी चीज़ आएगी उसको लेवी 2% चार्ज किया जाएगा। तो हमारी रफ के अंदर वो 2% ऑलरेडी लगाया जा रहा है। उसके लिए हमने गवर्नमेंट को रिक्वेस्ट की कि वो लेवी हटाई जाए, जिसकी वजह से और भी लोग इसके अंदर जुड़ पाए। और एक्सपोर्ट के मामले में हम देखें तो कई कंपनियां ऐसी है कि जिसके पास यूएस का वीज़ा नहीं है और वो कभी यूएस गए नहीं है, तो आज वो लोग अच्छे खासे एक्सपोर्टर्स है। तो मैंने देखा वैसे रेशियो 15 to 20% इंक्रीज हुआ है लास्ट 2 साल में ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म के दौर से। बाकी सबके पास जो ये प्रेशियस चीज़ है तो सबको देख के ही लेनी होती है, पर ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म के थ्रू हमें 15 से 20% का इंक्रीज मिला है एक्सपोर्ट के अंदर।
No, there's great success stories there. So, can you share some of the success stories, that you might have had, as a representative of FIO in the Western region, where MSMEs have benefited from FIO's export-related training and, would have achieved significant growth?
Definitely. We regularly on the Western region I'm talking about right now, that we have capacity building programs supported by the Commerce Ministry. So we do almost like a 5 to 6 programs every month in the different cities of small to second, 2-tier, 3-tier cities. And plus we do buyer-seller meets. We take the delegations from India for the exhibitions or for the buyer-seller with the support and organized by the arrangement by the Indian embassies. Like I was the group leader when I took the delegation to Kuwait last Kuwait in October. And after the same, at the time we were having 17 to 18 delegates. Most of them are startups or maybe just they started in last 3 years.
Right.
So at the time, the same delegates has taken another participation in another delegation to Botswana and the South Africa. Right. So what I heard from the same participant, that they started some export orders, already negotiated the orders, and they started finalized the orders, and they got some business. So that way, we are doing lots of business delegations, going to the overseas or bringing the customers. Like I said, Global Investor Meet, we brought 70 customers from overseas, spread from Africa, Latin America, European, and the Far East.
Right. So many congratulations, and
thank you.
We hope that that continues for you. This is now my last question to you, and we'll wrap this discussion there. From the viewpoint of the Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry, talk to us about how Make in India and Make for Global initiative has, helped the MSMEs in Gujarat, and also for them to be able to develop, products and services which are meeting international standards and are leading to growth opportunities.
So when you say Make in India, the last 1 year, if you see the small and the micro, particularly because Chamber engages a lot with the medium and small, most of them have upgraded their machinery because of the different schemes provided by the government of India and the state of Gujarat. So, for example, I would be processing in a small unit, say 200 units. I've upgraded it with the better quality because the incentives over for capital as well as interest subsidy. So we are in par with the world standards. We are around 6 to 8% interest. They're getting 4% back from the government of India. So it was only quality which had to be improved. So government had kept engaging a lot of courses. They kept doing a lot of skill development, which we did it at Chamber as well. They started doing that in industrial area, which is where they should be. For example, Vatwa or Naroda, say in Ahmedabad. So they keep doing those courses where they come and train the workers. They give subsidies to workers. So the skilled labor is going higher up notch every year on and on. And it is not sector specific, it could be different sectors.
Right.
And it has been choosing a lot of different sectors. Luckily, the windows keeps opening, and we hope that they keep engaging with bodies like us where they take
The know-how.
The know-how before launching the policies, which is the need of hour. Sometimes it happens the policy comes up and they've not consulted with the engaging industry.
Right.
So, for example, if pharma would rather have someone on board from the pharma or a textile guy who knows the day-to-day problems.
Okay.
But they've roped in a lot of people from different organizations where they take the initiative of understanding the industry problems and then launching the policy.
All right. But on that point, I just want all of you to, make some quick comments. When you look at policy, especially within your sectors, within your industry, is there one or two things that you'd like to change? What would be that wish list?
For the growth of the MSME, jumping from one level to another level, like if you see the data, as my other speakers have said, that more than 60 million MSME units are there. So out of that data, if you see that more than almost 550 to 570 millions are tiny industries,
Right.
micro industries,
Right.
which are like 1% to 20% or 40 people are working in mainly homegrown, home managed, or single person is managing from raw material to orders to everything and operations and shipping. So for them, the next level is awareness, first thing. Skill training, we need it from the government support at district level.
At the district level, right.
Right? Cheap funding, because even though government has the policies, like as Mr. Rajesh has
Bharat,
said,
yeah.
Bharat has said, but that awareness is not going to the ground level. And if they need to grow up, changing from one grade to micro to small, they need some extra land expansions. So they need some, in the cluster if they can get cheap land at a long lease and at a cheaper rates.
All right.
That could be one of the
Wish lists.
and the technical know-how.
And the technical know-how. But, hopefully that is for you are providing. But Mr. Mangukia, what would be the wish list, if policy-wise, is there a change that you want? I think you mentioned one or two.
Yeah, policy-wise, मैं मेरी इंडस्ट्री की बात कर सकता हूँ तो उसके अंदर जैसे ही गोल्ड इंपोर्ट होता है उसके अंदर 12.5 से लेके बहुत और भी एक्स्ट्रा एक्सपेंस मिलके हमें 15% यहाँ पे महंगा पड़ रहा है। हमने हर बार रिक्वेस्ट की, नए बजट के अंदर भी रिक्वेस्ट की थी कि उसको घटा के 5% किया जाए, जिसकी वजह से यहाँ पे जो MSME सेक्टर है उसको इजीली उसको टर्न ओवर कर पाए। ऐसे बहुत सारे हमने रिक्वेस्ट गवर्नमेंट को दी हुई है कि ये चीज़ें चेंजेस की जाए, ये चीज़ें, पर गवर्नमेंट का रवैया इसके अंदर बहुत पॉजिटिव है। इसका मैं 2-3 एग्जांपल आपको दे सकता हूँ कि उन्होंने R&D के लिए जो नई इंडस्ट्री आ रही है, लैब ग्रोन इंडस्ट्री, उसकी R&D के लिए अगर 250 करोड़ दिए है तो उसका कुछ अचीवमेंट हमें दिख रहा है कि उसके अंदर से और नई क्रांति आएगी। अब मेक इन इंडिया की एक बात करें तो पहले हमें रफ रॉ मटेरियल के ऊपर बाहर के ऊपर डिपेंड रहना पड़ता था, तो ये जो लैब ग्रोन डायमंड है वो अपने यहाँ ही ग्रो होते हैं। तो अभी डायमंड की रफ भी इंडिया में बनने लगी, पॉलिश भी यहाँ पे ही हो रहा है, ज्वेलरी भी हम ही बना रहे हैं और सिर्फ बेच ही रहे हैं। तो ये एक नई इकोनॉमी शो हो रही है और बाहर से पैसे आने वाली बात है। पहले क्या हो रहा था कि रफ की पेमेंट जाती थी और हमें पॉलिश की डायमंड आती, तो बीच में लेबर जॉब हो गया, वैल्यू एडिशन हो गया। अब सारी चीज़ें अपनी है और हमें सिर्फ पेमेंट आनी है। तो पॉलिसीज़ के अंदर थोड़े टफ डिसीजन होते हैं गवर्नमेंट के कि वो चीज़ चाइना भी कर रही है और इंडिया भी कर रही है, तो चाइना से जो चीज़ वो मटेरियल आ रहा है ना उसके ऊपर ड्यूटी लग रही है। तो हमने उसको रिक्वेस्ट की कि उसकी ड्यूटी हटाई जाए। मतलब एक माँ के 2 बेटे हैं ना, तो एक के साथ अन्याय हो रहा है तो उसको मतलब पॉलिसीज़ को समझने में गवर्नमेंट को ऐसे ही समझाना पड़ता है कि आप रियली ये फैक्ट है और ये नहीं है। और गवर्नमेंट अभी एग्रेसिवली आप देखोगे, सेपा देखोगे, एक्टा देखोगे, जो ऑस्ट्रेलिया के साथ हमने करार किए है, जो दुबई के साथ करार किए है, आज वेल डेवलप्ड कंट्री हमारे साथ करार मतलब MOU कर रही है, तो कुछ तो है अपने पास, तो हम उसका बेनिफिट लेते हैं, उसके सेमिनार्स करते हैं। पॉलिसीज़ के अंदर अगर कोई चेंजेस करने हैं तो DMCC को बोलते कि इसके अंदर चेंजेस किए जाए। जो दुबई के बहुत सारे रूल्स थे, पार्टनरशिप ऐसी होनी चाहिए, वैसी होनी चाहिए, उसको हमने चेंज करवाया है। तो आज है
धीरे चेंजेस।
यस ये समझ जाते हैं ना, तुरंत हो जाता है। समझाना मुश्किल है।
समझाना मुश्किल।
यस, और यही काम होता है, कोई भी काउंसिल है या कोई भी संस्था है, उसके जो भी लोग, जो भी कमेटी है, वो वही काम करती है। और हमने ये सारे प्रस्ताव एक मीटिंग तो हमारी ऐसी हुई थी कि मोदी जी भी सामने बैठे थे और हमें सुना था। तो ये सारी संस्थाएं वही काम करती है, और पॉलिसीज की बात करें तो हम ही बनाते हैं और हमारे लिए बनती है। तो गवर्नमेंट एग्रेसिव है। आज ऐसा स्टेज आ चुका है कि जो बहुत बड़ी पोस्ट है कि डेवलपमेंट कमिश्नर है, वो हमारी संस्थाओं को विजिट करते हैं और हमें पूछते हैं कि आपकी प्रॉब्लम क्या है। पहले क्या था, हम बार बार उनके पास जाते थे, सॉल्यूशन नहीं होता था। तो दोनों ओर से अभी एग्रेसिवली काम हो रहा है, तो रिजल्ट आएगा मेरे हिसाब से।
चलो अच्छी बात है। टू यू
Yeah, I mean, all that I would have to say is that whenever a company is registered, they must have access to the state policy and the central policy, and it is up to each individual in that company who has access to that, read everything and then take it further. You know, trying to look at changes in policy comes later on. First, at least one should understand what the policy is, and then we can talk about changes.
So at least attempt to understand.
Yes, absolutely.
चलिए महेंद्र जी, अभी आपके पास माइक,
मैं तो
लास्ट आप पूरा आप समाप्त करें।
मैं तो बहुत सीधा समझता हूँ कि जिसको व्यापार करना है उसको समझना तो पड़ेगा। व्यापार करना है तो मुझे कहाँ पे व्यापार करना है, मेरा रॉ मटेरियल कैसा है, मेरा मैन्युफैक्चर कैसा होगा, और मैं कहाँ निकास कर सकूँगा। निकास करने के लिए आज हमारे पास बहुत पॉलिसी है, बहुत जगह पे हर एक कंट्री के लिए हमारे लिए तैयार है। आज भारत सरकार, आज एसएमई तो रीढ़ की हड्डी के मुजब है। आज पूरा जो बिजनेस फिर जो है तो एसएमई से तो भारत सरकार का सबसे ज़्यादा चलता है। मैन्युफैक्चर बड़े बड़े हैं वो तो करते रहेंगे, लेकिन आज जितने भी एक्सपोर्टर बढ़ते जा रहे हैं, इसका देश की इकोनॉमी को अच्छा तरह से मौका मिलता जाएगा। हम आपको सबको एक ही समझना है कि हमारी पॉलिसी क्या है। हम किसी तरह से बिजनेस करना चाहते हैं, हमें ज़्यादा करना है, हमें कम तो करना नहीं। हम बिजनेस करने आए हैं, बिजनेस करने आए हैं तो हमें समझना पड़ेगा हमें कहाँ जाना है, हमें कहाँ पैसा मिलेगा। एक तो गुजराती लोग पहली बात करेंगे पैसा कहाँ मिलेगा। पैसा मिलेगा तो हमारा रॉ मटेरियल ये सब चीज़ हमें देखेंगे, तो अच्छी तरह से हम तैयार करेंगे। हम स्थानिकों के साथ समझना पड़ेगा, जो एजेंट लोग रहते हैं जो एक्सपोर्ट करके लिए, उनके साथ समझना पड़ेगा, और हर एक कंट्री के अंदर की पॉलिसी के साथ करके हमारी सरकारों के साथ। आज समझो कि आप गुजरात में हैं तो गुजरात सरकार के पास इंडस्ट्री मिनिस्टर में जाओ तो पहले बोलेंगे एसएमई वाली को हम पहले बिजनेस देंगे, हम पहले काम करेंगे। आज पूरा डिपार्टमेंट करके रखा है हमारे गुजरात सरकार ने। तो आज इसी तरह से हर एक स्टेट के अंदर किया है। तो आप जाइए, बिजनेस बढ़ाइए। जो एक्सपोर्ट, हमें घर घर एक्सपोर्ट करना है, हर जगह पे एक्सपोर्ट करना है, और इसके लिए हमें जागरूक रहना पड़ेगा, जागरूक रह के काम करना पड़ेगा।
You know, he's really championed and wonderful, sir. They're all very enthused. You know, you are an inspiration to all of them.
मैं एक बताऊं, मैं 2 दिन के पहले हॉस्पिटल से जायडस से वापस आया हूँ। थोड़ा एक गला का ऑपरेशन था, फिर भी मैंने 27 तारीख का अपॉइंटमेंट। आज मेरा नितिन गडकरी का बर्थडे है, नागपुर मेरी बहुत बड़ी पार्टी है, वहाँ मुझे जाना इन्विटेशन है, तो भी मैं कैंसिल किया है। लेकिन यहाँ पे मैंने 20 दिन से मैंने प्रॉमिस दिया था। तो आज मेरी मिसेज बोलती है कि अभी हॉस्पिटल आते हो, कहीं गए नहीं हो, तो आज हम जाएंगे। मैं भी घर आके खाऊंगा, चिंता मत कर, मैं अच्छी तरह से रहूँगा। आज सबको मिलने का मौका मिले तो ऐसा अच्छा कहाँ चीज़ मिलेगा।
थैंक यू सर, वी आर वेरी ग्रेटफुल कि आपने इतना समय निकाला हमारे लिए और इतनी सारी बातें बताई। यू नो, थैंक यू सो वेरी मच to each and every one of you for giving us insights, for helping us understand.
हमें सहन किया उसके लिए आपका आभार।
And thank you to a wonderful audience. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ET, for inviting us. I'll share my presentation in English only, but as we are, meeting here in Ahmedabad with the regional summit on MSMEs powered by ET. So આપ સર્વનો ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર for giving us an opportunity આપ સર્વની સામે આવી અને વાત કરવા માટે થઈને. આજે સવારથી જ આ માઇકમાં થોડો પ્રોબ્લેમ ચાલે છે, નો વરી. આપણે એટલું ડિસ્ટન્સ રાખીશું કે હું બોલું તો તમે સમજી શકો એટલા માટે. Though my topic is different than what main speaker or panelist has discussed, but it is an integral part of the MSMEs. When we talk about MSMEs, especially in Gujarat and when the regional edition, in Gujarat, every city, every taluka has their own SMEs. Take Jamnagar, take Bhavnagar, take Rajkot, take Morbi, take Surat, take Kadi. All the industries name would be different, but every unit is an MSMEs unit. You take cotton industry, you take textile industry, ceramic industry, or you say brass industry, shipbreaking industries. So by definition, MSMEs in Gujarat is very large, as what our earlier speaker has also said. I represent MCX, which is Multi Commodity Exchange of India Limited. We are the listed entity and we work on the commodity futures. Normal case, it is very easy for you to understand various industry related, production related, government policy related issues. But when we say MSMEs, we generally are not well versed with the risk. My earlier speaker has talked about currency risk or say competitive risk, but the major risk which MSMEs or any industries faces is the raw material risk or price risk. So when we are ill, we take an insurance for our health, for life, non-life. But as an industry, have we ever thought about taking insurance for my raw material? I think no. We never think of, because we are not well versed with the hedging mechanism available in India in form of MCX base metal contract. So in allotted time of 15 minutes, I try to give you the glimpse of how metal hedging can be done on exchange platform. What are the contract available to you? Meanwhile, if you have any further query or you want to conduct a special session on with any of the association, our prime objective is to make you well versed about the hedging mechanism. And so today I'm here. Once again, thank you, ET, for inviting us. Basically, when we say base metal complex, it is it's a non-ferrous complex. Basically, we deal in aluminum, copper, lead, nickel, and zinc. These are the 5 base metal in which we are dealing, which is in a larger industrial application. It might be aware you might not have the direct access with those kind of raw material. Wow. The availability of this as the most important part is, when we run an industry, for us, everything is easy, but the, gauging the price or price fluctuation in my raw material, it is very, very, dicey for me. I really don't know how the prices will move. Sometimes people always feel that due to future exchange, the prices in metal are now more fluctuative, but we'll give you the mirror image. Internationally also, if any of your if any industry unit present here in this room can have an exposure of any of the metal, you might be aware the prices which are a factor which are affecting the prices of your raw material. They are the international prices. Majorly we are driven by the international prices, where we order some raw material, their prices is X, and when it arrived in India, prices is Y. So our bottom line is always at stress. So how to mitigate this risk? There are so many other parameters also. These are the parameters which has the make effect on your raw material prices are. Hedging. We called it in our parlance is an insurance. Insurance is for what? Insurance is for your raw material prices, your sell prices, or your input prices. In a normal definition, when we say hedging, hedging is only for the purpose of to protect your margin. You can use our platform. This presentation has around 32 slides, but in nutshell, if we say hedging is insurance, insurance means if I'm a producer, if I want to purchase a raw material, I got a contract of say some large company, and I want to supply them certain parts of it, and I'm using copper or aluminum, though Ahmedabad is being a major market for aluminum. If I wanted to give them an aluminum at the fixed price, so what is choice for me? Either I can procure the entire raw material when I got an order, or I can purchase it on the exchange platform that is available on MCX. You can hedge your price risk. How it will happen? The value chain, how this metal market or the raw material market is started from the mining. Metals comes from the mining to refiner. refiner to producer, or in that big, again, in metal also recycle is another industry. So when we talk about any of the raw material which you are consuming, especially in metal segment, these are the value chain participants starting from the miner, refiner and producer. Recycler is also have their own say in the metal market also. Why we need a hedging, or why, what is the role of MCX is, you need an efficient price discovery, platform for hedging, and scope for the delivery. If you need to have a delivery from exchange platform, that also you can take it from MCX. This is very important slide. If you are a consumer of any of the metal, 5 base metal which I have discussed, that is copper, zinc, lead, nickel and aluminum, I will try to tell you the price fluctuation in your raw material. You can see in 2016, 17, 14%, 95 is a price fluctuation. To 1670 to 2023, you can see the annual volatility in any of your raw material. If aluminum is your raw material, these are the price fluctuations. So moral of the story, if you are a consumer of an aluminum, you wanted to have a turnover of 100 crore, you are exposed to the risk of volatility, that is 28.71 crore. Reason being, we are not fixing our input prices or raw material prices. That is where we are exposed to the risk of price fluctuation. I have taken the same example of copper, where you can see the volatility from 2016 to 2023, that is around 21.58%. I'm not trying to, make you afraid of it, but I am trying to make you more comfortable how the hedging can be useful to you. This is what an example I try to give. So again, when we say you have a two choice, we have a two choice. Okay, these are our raw material prices. This year we're not able to make, but next year we'll make. Oh, it's a traditional business, so we'll accommodate it. Thai jase badhu routine. But sometimes the fluctuation is so high, it gets on a massive hit on our bottom line. So how to mitigate that risk? That is via hedging. And the hedging comes is nothing, it's in a jargon, which generally people say that we don't know hedging. We don't deal in a future exchange, but I am only trying to tell you, I have given an example of a short hedge in our parlance, but in a normal terms, when you are trying to fix up your input price is fixed, but your sell price, if you are not able to fix the sell price, you can use our platform. I'm trying to give an example. If you wanted to have a raw material, buy raw material, sell exchange platform, the moment you offload your goods in a physical market or you deliver the order, you square up the exchange position. So in that scenario, this is a mathematical calculation. The moment you lock your prices with the margin of 5%, you don't need to use on entire your CC or don't need to increase your inventory. You simply need to hedge. You have to simply book in a future contract on exchange. And you can, by virtue of say 10% of margin, you can book the value. You can start making the raw material or goods in which you are getting an order of it. And when the order is ready, you can sell it in the market by squaring up the position in exchange. Moral of the story, when you are in a risk of increase in price, or you are not sure about which price my raw material will be sold, you can use our platform via tool of hedging. Another example I have given is when your input price, means your raw material cost, is not fixed, especially when you are importing something and then you have got an order. So in that case, your input price is not fixed, you are exposed to the major risk, that is an increase in price or decrease in price. Anything related to increase and decrease of your raw material price is straight away addressed by the way of hedging. I have tried to give another example is, suppose you are an importer of some raw material, what risk we are carrying is, our risk is we are falling the price. I have booked copper or aluminum, it's a price of 100 rupees. If it is 100, that is fine. But when you lend it in India, its prices goes down. What should I do? Similarly, I have an inventory with me. I am not able to sell my goods. So where do I hedge? You can hedge on the exchange platform, that is on an exchange. In both the cases, we have to only understand this platform can be used only by SMEs, and it can be used by SMEs only for the hedging purpose, not for the trading purpose. Our major agenda and our major request to all the industry participants is, when we do hedging, we should hedge our position whatsoever amount of physical goods we brought in, and that should be the quantum fixed for the hedging. Some people do 50% hedging, 50% open raw material they do. So my main point is, when we have an excess of any of the risk, input or output risk, you are not able, you have an inventory, sell on exchange, MCX is there 24/7 as a buyer and seller for you. Recently, we have a 5 contract for metal. Arre wah. Hedge, perfect hedge, correct. Not hedged. Anyway, we'll forget about the screen. I think I'll deliver more specific when I am talking to you. We have a 5 contract to hedge. One is copper, one is aluminum, lead, zinc, and nickel. For MSMEs, recently we have launched the mini contract in aluminum, zinc, and lead. We called it, for MSMEs, mini hai to mumkin hai, your hedging is. Because our major contract for aluminum is having 5 metric ton, while mini has only 1 metric ton. So any of the industry has an exposure of aluminum, but the quantum is less, you can hedge in our aluminum mini. Our major mega contract for zinc is say 5 metric ton. And if you have not have a 5 metric ton monthly exposure, you can have 1 metric ton of zinc mini. Similarly, lead also 5 ke samne 1 metric ton ka contract we have. Similarly, copper we have a 2.5 metric ton, and nickel we have a 1.5 metric ton of contract. For your information, earlier our contract was not based for the deliveries, but now from exchange platform, you can get deliveries of the metal contract also, where the major delivery center. So when we deal with the future exchanges, we have to understand where we get the delivery. Suppose if I'm an aluminum buyer, I want to take a delivery from the exchange, where should I got? Generally, Ahmedabad padtu madse, but no, it's not Ahmedabad padta, because for future exchange, the major delivery center for us in aluminum is Raipur, Chhattisgarh. Nickel, we have in Mumbai, Maharashtra, Thane. Lead, we have in Chennai. Copper, majorly our center is in Thane, except aluminum and lead, which is in a center based not in Thane. So when you want to take delivery, you will get the delivery as per the contract specification. Similarly, the size of a contract, when you go for the copper, if I get the opportunity to show you, I'll tell you which kind of deliveries which we are going to give you is. So when we say aluminum, you'll get the primary ingot, copper is in a cathode, lead is an ingot, nickel, primary nickel cathode, and zinc will got an ingot. So this kind of a material if you wanted to have delivery from the exchange platform. Moral of the story, this can be elaborated to any of our individual associations also, or with the Chamber of Commerce also. We can keep on conducting various awareness sessions for the participant who try to have an exposure in any of the industry. Even gems and jewelry industry can be also can participate on exchange platform. But today MSMEs are major concept. So I try to always say, when you protect your input cost, we generally always say bottom line, but we try to ignore if we don't have an hedging tool with us. When we, in our earlier speaker also say international trade practice, international market, when we say we should not only focus for the international for per se of production and all, for what procedure they adapt for to protect the risk. One of the risk is raw material risk. So for that, you can always hedge on the exchange platform. MCX has our regional office in Gandhinagar Gift City. We as a team, we always try, we are very much keen to address all the industry participants to make you understand about how hedging works. It's a subject which can, we can talk about it for 1 hour or more than that. But it's a glimpse, just a glimpse given to you. If you feel you have a risk to your raw material prices, if you have a risk of sold out product also, you can always come and hedge on our platform. This, especially our all mini contract, is also meant only for the MSMEs, because we get so many feedback from the industry because of your stopped mini contract. We are not able to hedge ourselves, because every industry didn't have then a 5-10 metric ton monthly consumption of any of the metal. So it is always better if we keep our contract lesser. And with this lesser contract, you can come and hedge on our platform, sir. Hedging has so many plus minus. Now under the Income Tax Act 43(5), you can claim your profit and loss come from the hedging with your business income and loss also. That is a recent amendment. I cannot say recent, it's a long time amendment. Generally MSME didn't hedge, so they never come into the they even never come for this kind of a scenario. But if you hedge, hedging is not for the profit making. It is just for to make you make yourself comfortable when you lock your input price, or you wanted to sell your product. Sometimes we say supplier, when prices goes up, or supplier will say, no, I will not give you the same prices. With the tool of hedging, you can fix up the market related price, whatever prevalent prices of that raw material, you can supply it to them. Similarly, when you don't find any buyer, MCX is there opening from 9 to 11:30 in night, who can become a seller or buyer for your product. So use this platform. This is a future exchange, sir, where you can hedge, lock your position within a margin of 10%, and then you can carry forward your position. And end of the month, it is your choice to give the delivery, take the delivery, or you wanted to square it up. So this is how the hedging tool available to all the SMEs. So I hope with minimum time given to me are able to make yourself understand. So thank you very much for giving me a time. Thank you very much.
Okay, so let me even start with the word information asymmetry. So I think this is something why every event now is happening. So if you see, what do you mean information asymmetry means कि हमारे पास कुछ information है जो कम है, और information अगर कम है तो we always end up in the losing side. So कोई अगर decision लेना है, whether we want to take any decision for our organization, whether it comes to the technology adoption, it comes to how do we grow the export, it comes to how do we take all the benefits from the different policies that the government has. Anywhere, wherever there is a lack of information, we will end up in the losing side. So that's where I think it is extremely important to attend these sessions and then help in increasing the awareness level, which is why we will be able to take a better decision for our organization. And I'll keep switching between Hindi or English, so I don't know what's comfortable. I mean, Gujarati, I'm not very comfortable, but Hindi or English, I will keep switching. So what at least, I mean, I'll try to do it. So first of all, I represent NASSCOM here. NASSCOM has a center established in Gandhinagar. This has been made with support from the Ministry of Electronics at the center and Gujarat government at a state. So it's a center and state partnership along with NASSCOM. The center has been formed to help the MSMEs, manufacturing companies, digitize their plants. So that's what we are driving. We are doing a lot of awareness creation. We are running several programs which helps in forming of the ecosystem to bring manufacturing companies, solution providers, research organization together for the collaboration on the Industry 4.0 solution adoption. Right? So that's what we do. And before even I start talking about how to digitize or give you few tips about the adoption on the Industry 4.0, let me give you some stats on why manufacturing is extremely important. Why Bharatji did talk about some numbers from a Gujarat point of view. I think these were very, very impressive numbers. Gujarat is the leading state on the manufacturing side. But from a country point of view, if you see that why manufacturing is important, why everyone is talking about manufacturing, because it's a growth engine for our country. 16 to 17% of India's GDP is now contributed by the manufacturing sector. And this number is growing. By the years to come, this number will be even bigger. From an exports point of view, in fiscal year 22, there was export of $418 billion. And with the growth that which we are growing, and with the capacity that we already have, or the capacity which will get built up, this number can go up to $1 trillion in the next, say, 5 to 6, 7 years. Right? So if you see the amount of growth that manufacturing sector it is bringing, the number of people which it is employed is 27.3 million people. So it's a big employment generation also which is there for the country. Government has already given a lot of initiatives. I mean, PLI has given big benefits to the many industries. The Make in India program, Digital India program. So what we are doing basically at NASSCOM is part of the Digital India initiative that we are driving. So these programs are also helping pushing the manufacturing sector to the next level. Now let's kind of, and while we have talked about the overall manufacturing sector, let's talk about the MSMEs. And MSMEs, I mean, we all say that yes, it's the backbone of the country. And these are the reasons why MSMEs is the backbone for the country. Udyam registration portal, I think we all say that there are still not many MSMEs has registered for the Udyam portal, but still if you see the number, there are 1.6 crore numbers are already there. It's 1.62 what I saw yesterday. So 1.62 crore are already there. So which means, I mean, there will be many, many more MSMEs which are there in the country. Out of that, if I just talk about manufacturing only, it is 43 lakhs. Again, these are not all the actual numbers. The actual numbers will be much more than this, but 43 lakhs is already formally registered. 1/3 of the manufacturing of the country is done by MSMEs. It's a huge thing for the country. And that's where we say why MSMEs are important. Now, from the policies point of view, Bharatji did talk about the policies that the state has. Similarly, in the country, every state has their industry policies. These incentives are provided by every state. At a central level, there is an MSME policy. So those are the separate policies which are there where, to help the MSMEs grow and also adopt the technology. And plus some of the other schemes like MSME Champion Scheme, we did talk about ZD certification, correct? So these are all the things which again are helping MSMEs grow. So now we all know that this is extremely important segment. Let's start talking about what kind of a situation where we are today. So the MSME program or the SME program, we started about a year and a half back. And then in the last 1.5 years, we have met with almost 700 to 800 manufacturing SMEs. So while most of it is in Gujarat, but we have traveled to all across in the country and in the many other states also, we have interacted with the SMEs. And now I will present to you where we are today, what kind of challenges industry is facing, and how technology can help in addressing some of those challenges. Okay? So that's what I will try to do in the next 15 minutes. So where are we today is basically, I think you all will understand there is a huge disparity of the technology adoption that we currently are seeing in the manufacturing sector. When I say disparity, the large companies in the country, they were already investing in the technology since a decade. When the COVID came, and after the COVID, the large companies, I'm just telling you some numbers, the adoption or the investment level of the large companies has doubled post-COVID. But when it comes to the MSMEs, it has still not increased, right? So large companies 10 साल से invest कर रहे हैं, COVID के बाद उन्होंने अपनी investment double कर दी है, MSMEs अभी भी they are not able to do. The reason is again information asymmetry, because there is not enough information which is available to the MSMEs to basically decide the real benefits of the technology and adopt the technology, right? So इसीलिए वो आगे नहीं बढ़ पाए. It is not that the interest is not there. I'm sure you all will have an interest to use the technology, but where you would find challenges कि what are the real reasons, कितना benefit मिलेगा, correct? So those are the questions which will keep coming. Too much focus on the automation. Automation अच्छा है. I'm not saying automation is not bad, but only automation and no digitization is a problem. And I will try to answer in the next couple of slides on what is the difference between automation and digitization. सिर्फ automation से काम नहीं चलेगा, digitization को साथ में लाना होगा MSMEs को grow करने के लिए. Digitizations के जितने भी अभी भी initiatives जो चल रहे हैं, वो हमेशा ऐसा होता है, देखा है, मतलब ये जो point which we are saying, it is based on the discussions we had. Most of the times you will see digitization की अभी ये problem आ रही है, इसको solve कैसे करें, कोई technology help कर सकती है, let's kind of वो technology हम ले लेते हैं और adopt करा लेते हैं, एक जगह वो लग जाती है बस, correct? It is only the decisions are based on a very, very short-term basis. It is not a long-term plan which gets made for the digitization initiatives. और ये भी एक बड़ा difference है बड़ी company और एक छोटी company में. बड़ी company में एक proper plan बनता है, उस plan के according digitization होता है. अगर छोटी company में start होता है तो एक specific एक challenge के हिसाब से plan solution adopt होता है, correct? Which is also the problem. Then already I think I have said, so these are the questions MSMEs has. कहाँ पे gap हैं, where should I start? I mean, it is all about information asymmetry. I mean, how do I do it? What kind of budgets will be needed? मेरे पास ROI मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा? कितने कौन है जो हेल्प करेगा? बड़ी कंपनी के टेक्नोलॉजी कंपनी के पास जाएंगे तो then they will ask lot of money. We don't have that much of a money to spend. So I mean, the challenges still kind of remains. Now, what I will do is I'll present to you certain challenges which again we have heard when we have been to different plants, right? So, and hopefully, I mean, I think these all will resonate with you. ये जितने भी challenges हैं आपसे सबसे related होंगे. These will not be very different challenges that you were facing. And believe me, जो भी मैं यहाँ पे इस slide में होगा, इन सब के solution digitization है. इन सब के solution में अगर आप digital solutions लेंगे, you will have an ROI. Right? There is no question कि you will not have an ROI. Only thing is, I mean, it has to be implemented in a proper way. So that's the only catch here. But there will be an ROI. Because these are not new. These are the solutions or these are the problems that large companies also have. They have deployed the solution. They have received the benefits. इसमें कोई अभी innovation की बात अभी हम कोई भी नहीं कर रहे हैं. Right? These are all the basic solutions जो होने चाहिए. Challenges में सबसे बड़ा problem होता है labor का. Skilled workers movement होता रहता है. Especially COVID के बाद ये बढ़ गया है. So workers keeps moving and that's always the trouble कि अगर कोई worker छोड़ के जा रहा है, in between it is not there. अब situation को कैसे manage करा जाए? So dependency on the workers' skills is huge for the success of the MSMEs right now. और वो it is a good part for the country कि laborers are better utilized, but then it brings a risk also to the MSMEs. The operational costs have increased. Over the last few years, operational costs have increased. There could be many reasons of it. Wear and tear हो रहा है. Energy, especially अगर मैं energy consumption का बोलूँ, I think energy consumption over the last 6 to 7 years, especially जैसे जैसे आपके equipments old होते जाते हैं, energy cost will increase. और वो it is all due to the wear and tear. And if somewhere there is not proper maintenance which is there, that also causes the high energy losses. Efficiency and productivity levels. If we ask MSMEs, at what capacity utilization are you working? What are your efficiency levels? Are your plant working at 75% efficiency, 80% efficiency? Is your productivity levels that the workers are using, are they the right productivity levels? The right answers are not there. Why not there? Because there is no data to back it up. The data which will be there, even if it will be there, you cannot analyze those data. Frequent breakdowns keeps happening. और जब MSMEs जब उसका cost निकालते हैं कि इस breakdown का loss कितना हुआ, I think it is only based on कि अभी इस breakdown को fix करने में cost कितना हुआ, लेकिन उस breakdown की वजह से production का loss कितना हुआ, short term और long term loss कितना हुआ, that calculation is not being done. तो जब वो कैलकुलेशन करेंगे तब वो समझ में आएगा कि ये जो लॉस होता है वो कितना बड़ा लॉस होता है और अगर हम इसको प्रिवेंट कर पाएं तो देन हाउ मच मनी वी विल सेव. डेटा इन द रिकॉर्ड्स, आई थिंक दिस इज 100% अक्रॉस. अगर मैं बोल रहा हूँ हम 700 से 800 MSMEs में विजिट करा है हमने, किसी भी कंपनी में जाएंगे हर जगह वर्क स्टेशन पर रजिस्टर्स होंगे, वहाँ पर वर्कर्स डेटा नोट कर रहे होंगे, रिकॉर्ड कर रहे होंगे. रजिस्टर्स एक हफ्ते बाद 15 दिन बाद भर जाएगा, उसके बाद वो किसी अलमीरा में चला जाएगा और वो अलमीरा जब वो भर जाएगी तो कहीं और शिफ्ट हो जाएगा. सो देयर इज सो मच ऑफ ए गोल्ड माइन ऑफ डेटा विच इज अवेलेबल. अगर उस डेटा के बेस पे अगर आप उसको एनालाइज करो, you will not need any external consultant to take better decisions for improving your plant efficiency. You will not need anyone. सिर्फ आपको वो डेटा चाहिए आपके सामने to be presented in a right way. You can take a lot of better decisions which will help you. Correct? So that's the problem that everyone is facing. And again, believe me, whether you are from any industry, आप प्लास्टिक से हो, केमिकल से हो, फार्मा से हो, ऑटोमोबाइल, किसी भी इंडस्ट्री के MSMEs हो, ये प्रॉब्लम्स हर प्लांट में आज के डेट में है. So now the question is, अब प्रॉब्लम सबके सामने है. सबको पता है कि एटलीस्ट इतना आइडिया तो है कि टेक्नोलॉजी से काफ़ी हेल्प हो सकती है. तो हमने साथ में ये भी पूछा था लोगों से कि व्हेन देयर इज सो मच ऑफ ए प्रॉब्लम, यू नो दैट टेक्नोलॉजी कैन हेल्प, then why you are not adopting the technology, right? So now I'll tell you what are the reasons that we have heard from the MSMEs on why they are not adopting the technology. And then again, these might be reasons that you will also have. Agar aapka aur koi reason hai, I will be most happy to kind of hear from you post this session. But primarily, number one stake is technology adoption के लिए IT या digital skills चाहिए होते हैं. हम तो मैकेनिकल और इलेक्ट्रिकल वाले बंदे हैं, ये स्किल्स हमारे पास हम चाहेंगे भी तो हम नहीं सीख पाएंगे, राइट? सो इट्स ए माइंडसेट विच इज़ देयर कि ये स्किल हम सीख ही नहीं सकते. लेकिन आई थिंक जो चीज़ समझ में नहीं आ रही है कि वी रियली डोंट हैव टू लर्न दीज टेक्नोलॉजीज. वॉट वी हैव टू ओनली लर्न इज द अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ हाउ टेक्नोलॉजीज कैन बी अप्लाइड टू द यूज केसेस. टेक्नोलॉजीज को डिप्लॉय करने के लिए देर आर प्लेंटी ऑफ सोल्यूशन प्रोवाइडर्स विच आर अवेलेबल. हमें टेक्नोलॉजी के अंदर नहीं घुसना, हमें बस इतना समझना है कि अगर एआई है तो एआई मेरे प्लांट में क्या कर सकता है, वो कैसे करेगा, उसके लिए बहुत सारे वेंडर्स हैं जो वो काम कर देंगे. सेकेंड इज आई डोंट हैव ए टाइम एंड रिसोर्सेज. मेरे पास पहले ही बहुत लोग कम हैं, मैं अभी बिजी हूँ, अभी मेरे ऑपरेशनल इश्यूज बहुत चल रहे हैं, 6 महीने बाद देखेंगे क्या करना है, करेक्ट? और वो 6 महीने कभी ख़त्म नहीं होते, 6 महीने के बाद अगले 6 महीने आ जाते हैं और वो कंटिन्यूसली चलता रहता है, राइट? तो आप देख रहे हैं डिफरेंस क्या है. लार्ज कंपनीज कंटिन्यूसली आगे आगे बढ़ रही हैं. एमएसएमई चीज़ों को अभी भी एक फेंस पर बैठ के एक सोच रहे हैं कि हमें आगे बढ़ना चाहिए या नहीं बढ़ना चाहिए, या ये राइट टाइम है कि नहीं है. एआई एंड आईओटी ये सब बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियों के लिए है, मेरे यहाँ पर तो आरओआई नहीं आने वाला. अगेन ए वेरी वेरी मिथ माइंडसेट चेंज हैज़ टू बी देयर. एआई और जो भी सॉल्यूशंस हैं, देयर आर लॉट ऑफ दीज सॉल्यूशंस विच आर देयर, which are low cost, easy to deploy. These all can benefit the MSMEs also. Everything is working fine. कुछ लोगों ने ये भी बोला है, सब कुछ तो ठीक चल रहा है, मेरे प्लान में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, तो मैं क्यों ये सब करूं, करेक्ट? सो नाउ लुकिंग फॉर ए फ्यूचर ग्रोथ. अगर आपको अपनी कॉस्ट सेव करनी है, इफ़ यू वांट टू स्टे ग्लोबली कॉम्पिटिटिव, यू हैव टू यूज दिस टेक्नोलॉजीज, बिकॉज ये जितने भी सॉल्यूशंस जितने भी होते हैं, ये आपकी कॉस्ट सेव करेंगे ही करेंगे. और आप कॉस्ट सेव करेंगे, यू विल बिकम मोर कॉम्पिटिटिव, यू विल हैव बेटर एक्सपोर्ट्स. देन द आंसर इज, फ्यू आंसर्स हैव बीन, आई हैव नॉट सीन एनी अडॉप्शन ऑफ द टेक्नोलॉजी. आप हमें बताइए कितने एमएसएमईज ने अडॉप्ट करा, करेक्ट? ये भी बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन आता है. अब उसका आंसर कैसे करें, हमें भी इतना क्लियर नहीं होता है. जब तक लोग आगे के बढ़ेंगे नहीं और कुछ करें, मतलब कुछ सॉल्यूशन अडॉप्ट नहीं होंगे, तब तक एग्जाम्पल्स भी कैसे बनेंगे, करेक्ट? सो इसीलिए जो हमने जो प्रोग्राम बनाया यही कि एटलीस्ट लेट्स in every state, let's start creating certain success stories so that other MSMEs को कुछ examples मिलें, कि एक confidence आए कि ये भी हो सकता है. But उसके लिए क्या हमें, we will also need few MSMEs who want to be the leaders, who want to be the forward thinker, and who want to take first step in getting these benefits and then showing the path to the other benefits, right? Then last question, last thing है, I have already invested in digitization through robotic systems, correct? बहुत बड़ा मिथ है. तो जैसे मैंने पहले बोला था, डिजिटाइजेशन और ऑटोमेशन में डिफरेंस होता है. सो ऑटोमेशन इज नॉट डिजिटाइजेशन, और उसी का मैं थोड़ा सा और क्लियर करूंगा कि व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस. ऑटोमेशन बेसिकली इज समथिंग वेयर यू ब्रिंग इन मशीनरी टू डू द वर्क ऑफ ह्यूमन बीइंग और ए वर्कर. जो काम वर्कर कर रहा है वो मशीनरी करेगी, इज दी ऑटोमेशन. ये डिजिटाइजेशन नहीं है. ऑटोमेशन क्यों हम करते हैं? ताकि हम ज़्यादा प्रोड्यूस कर सकें, कंसिस्टेंट लेवल पर प्रोड्यूस कर सकें, और बेटर प्रोड्यूस करें, राइट? सो दैट्स द रीज़न वी डू ऑटोमेशन. व्हाट इज डिजिटलाइजेशन और डिजिटाइजेशन इज बेसिकली टू ब्रिंग इन मशीन्स एंड वर्कर्स वर्क टुगेदर एंड टॉक टू ईच अदर. अभी मशीन्स इंडिपेंडेंटली वर्क करती हैं व्हेन यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑटोमेशन. डिजिटाइजेशन में एक मशीन दूसरी मशीन के साथ बात कर सकती है, एक मशीन वर्कर के साथ एंगेज कर सकती है, और जब आपस में एक इंटीग्रेशन हो जाता है तो रिजल्ट्स अपने आप निकलेंगे. सो दैट्स द मेजर डिफरेंस, एंड दैट्स हाउ द टेक्नोलॉजी हेल्प्स इन कनेक्टिंग दीज मशीन्स, इन गेटिंग द डेटा फ्रॉम द डिफरेंट सिस्टम्स. उस डेटा को राइट वे में प्रेजेंट करके द राइट वे में डिसीजंस आर बेसिकली बीइंग टेकन. So now, one more slide I will have. Continuous improvement आप सबने सुना है, आप सभी कर रहे होंगे, right? Lean, it is not new. What is lean is basically you keep on improving. आप waste कम करते रहो. You drive incremental improvement. So, but the thing is, incremental improvement will only give to limited number of benefits. It definitely brings benefits. If you really want to do a lot more, if you really want to say you want to achieve, say, 10% changes, then you don't need continuous improvement, just continuous improvement. What you need is basically the transformation. So transformation कैसे आता है? Transformation will basically come through the technology. What I am not saying is कि आपको lean नहीं करना. Lean absolutely necessary. Or lean has to be continuously to be done. It should never be the stop. Continuous improvement can never be stopped. But in between stages, you have to also think of the transformation. You can't just depend on small improvements yearly basis to grow big. Right? अगर micro को small बनना है, small को medium बनना है, medium को MSME से बाहर आना है, so you have to think of the transformation. सिर्फ continuous improvement से काम नहीं बनेगा. अब मैंने इतना बात कर लिया कि टेक्नोलॉजी चाहिए, तो थोड़ा सा let me also talk about what kind of solutions basically will help. So these are few basic category of the solutions which I have put in front of you. ये जितने भी solutions हैं, I am saying these all are relevant for the MSMEs. इनमें से ऐसा हमने कुछ भी नहीं लिखा कि जो कि MSMEs के लिए relevant नहीं है और जो सिर्फ large companies के लिए है. लार्ज कंपनीज में ये सोल्यूशन आपको हर जगह मिल जाएंगे. तो ऐसा भी नहीं है कि ये सॉल्यूशंस प्रूवन नहीं है. दीज सॉल्यूशंस आर बीइंग यूज्ड. इसमें से कोई भी इनोवेशन की मैं कुछ भी नहीं बोला मैंने. दिस इज ऑल एग्जिस्टिंग. ये बस आपको यूज करने हैं. एंड to kind of implement these solutions, there are plenty of startups also who are available in the country who have these solutions and who can deploy it at a much lesser cost. So जो cost का जो एक concern रहता है वो भी अगर आप startups के साथ जाएंगे, the advantage of working with the startups is you get a lot of customization done, you get the same things in a lesser cost. There are always, I'll not say just, startups are everything is rosy. There will always be some challenges while you work with the startups also. But अगर एक effective project management के हिसाब से आप करेंगे तो I think everything work out better. But option is definitely there to work with the startups. Now the solutions basically, I'll not talk about all the solutions, but especially अगर मैं कुछ important अगर मैं बोलूँ supply chain, right? Supply raw material की we have continuous issues. Raw material cost has increased. Raw materials is always the problem. और अगर जब मैं जितने भी प्लांट में गया हर जगह when I have asked कि आपके भी इन्वेंट्री लेवल कितना होता है, कहीं कहीं तो ये भी सुना है 6 महीने का रखते हैं कि अगर बाय चांस नहीं मिला तो 1 महीना 2 महीना 3 महीना 6 महीना हर एक जगह अलग अलग है. और दैट इज बेस्ड ऑन द एक्सपीरियंस दैट इट इज देयर. बट द क्वेश्चन इज क्या वो इम्प्रूव करा जा सकता है? अगर वो इन्वेंट्री लेवल अगर आपने 1 हफ्ता भी अगर आपने कम कर लिया सो यू विल सेव बिग मनी देयर. बट वो कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आता है. कॉन्फिडेंस क्यों नहीं आता? क्योंकि आपके पास डेटा नहीं है. अगर इफ यू यूज द राइट सोल्यूशन विच विल हेल्प यू इन मैनेजिंग द इन्वेंट्री एंड इट इज लिंक्ड विद योर प्रोडक्शन प्लानिंग, यू विल गेट द कॉन्फिडेंस की इन्वेंट्री लेवल आपको कितनी मेंटेन करनी चाहिए. तो उसके लिए सिंपल एआई बेस्ड सोल्यूशन रहता है विच कैन बी यूज. लॉजिस्टिक्स का ट्रैकिंग, लॉजिस्टिक्स का मैनेजमेंट, अगेन देयर आर वेरी सिंपल IoT बेस्ड सोल्यूशंस विच आर देयर दैट कैन हेल्प इन द ट्रैकिंग ऑफ द लॉजिस्टिक्स पार्ट ऑफ इट. OE, it is again a very very important. सब प्लांट में जैसे मैं कह रहा था कि इतना देयर इज नो विजिबिलिटी कि अगर किसी प्लांट में 50 मशीन है कि कौन सी मशीन किस परफॉर्मेंस लेवल पर काम कर रही है, लाइन किस परफॉर्मेंस लेवल पर काम कर रही है, प्लांट किस परफॉर्मेंस लेवल पर काम कर रहा है, देयर इज नो डेटा. तो OE सॉल्यूशंस अगर आप इफ यू काइंड ऑफ डिप्लॉय दिस OE सॉल्यूशंस, अगेन नॉट वेरी डिफिकल्ट. Deploy this, you will have a dashboard in front of you which will tell you कि पिछले 6 महीने में मेरी कौन सी मशीन किस एफिशिएंसी लेवल पर काम करी, किस मशीन में प्रॉब्लम आई और वो क्यों प्रॉब्लम्स आई, किस तरह की प्रॉब्लम्स आई. उसके बेस पे then you can get to the root cause. Based on the root cause you can fix the problem. Right? So OE is again a very simple solution that should be implemented. Related to this is paperless. जो जितना भी, जैसे मैं बोल रहा था कि हर वर्क स्टेशन पर एक रजिस्टर रखा जा सकता है, उसको रजिस्टर की जगह टैब से रिप्लेस कर दिया जाए. So all the data will go into the tab, and then it will be available in the form of a dashboard to you, which can be analyzed, and then better decisions can be taken. Production planning and scheduling, इतने आजकल चेंजेस हो रहे हैं. प्रोडक्शन प्लानिंग करना मुश्किल नहीं होता, लेकिन जब वो प्लान जब एग्जीक्यूट हो रहा होता है, 100 में से मैं बोल रहा हूँ 90% ऑफ द टाइम और इवन मोर 90% ऑफ द टाइम वो कभी भी एज इट इज एग्जीक्यूट होता ही नहीं है. बिकॉज कहीं ना कहीं इतने कंस्ट्रेंट्स बीच में आते हैं, इतने इफ्स एंड बट्स आते हैं कि वो प्लान बीच बीच में चेंज होता रहता है. और वो चेंजेस जब आते हैं, देन द प्लानिंग पार्ट बिकम्स वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट. सो दैट्स वेयर when the things are complex in managing through the regular human ways, use the technology. So technology provides you all the ways to manage those production plan within your factories. Predictive maintenance, basically जो simple solution, अगर predictive maintenance में ना भी जाए, at least condition monitoring करें. Condition monitoring से आपके कुछ critical equipments जिसमें जहाँ पे अगर fail हो गया, आपको big loss होगा अपने production का, at least उस equipment का you should start doing condition monitoring, which will tell you whether the equipment आगे जाके fail होने वाला है कि नहीं. एनर्जी मैनेजमेंट के इतने इंसेंटिव्स भी आ रहे हैं अभी एनर्जी मैनेजमेंट के लिए. सिंपल सॉल्यूशंस रहते हैं, आप एनर्जी के इक्विपमेंट से इलेक्ट्रिकल और कुछ मैकेनिकल पैरामीटर्स ट्रैक करिए, एंड देन बेस्ड ऑन दैट यू विल स्टार्ट गेटिंग हिंट्स कि वियर एंड टियर बढ़ रहा है नहीं बढ़ रहा, और क्या मेंटेनेंस लेवल बेसिकली करना चाहिए. क्वालिटी इंस्पेक्शन के लिए विजन बेस्ड सॉल्यूशंस आर एब्सोल्युटली काइंड ऑफ द थिंग टू गो विद. You can use this quality solution, basically कैमरा रहेगा, कैमरा प्रोडक्ट के पिक्चर लेगा, AI इंजन बैकएंड पे रहेगा, डिसाइड करेगा कि उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम है कि नहीं, एंड देन यू विल गेट दी डिसीजन कि उसमें प्रोडक्ट डिफेक्टिव है कि नहीं. अभी क्या है कि हर वर्क स्टेशन पर जहाँ पे क्वालिटी इंस्पेक्शन हो रहा है, एक वर्कर होगा, एक दिन में 1000 प्रोडक्ट इंस्पेक्ट करेगा. अब वो भी 100% इंस्पेक्शन नहीं कर पाएगा, कहीं ना कहीं वो मिस आउट करेगा, तो क्वालिटी डिफेक्ट्स पास ऑन होंगे. So that way these kind of solutions can help in improving the quality. अब अगर अप्रोच की बात करें कि कैसे करना चाहिए, करेक्ट, सॉल्यूशन अडॉप्शन करना है, तो हाउ डू यू गो अबाउट इट. फर्स्ट स्टेप रहेगा कि पहले यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड दी करंट आपके स्टेट क्या है, कहाँ कहाँ पे क्या इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, क्या चैलेंजेस आ रहे हैं. एक बेसिकली एक थोड़ा सा रोड मैप बनाना पड़ेगा स्टार्टिंग में, ना कि जस्ट गोइंग बाय वन सोल्यूशन. एक रोड मैप बनाइए, चैलेंजेस आइडेंटिफाई करिए, उसमें से प्रायोरिटाइजेशन करिए. उसके बाद सबसे पहला स्टेप अगर रहता है कि कनेक्टिविटी एस्टेब्लिश करिए. मशीन्स के अंदर कनेक्टिविटी होनी चाहिए, मशीन्स के अंदर आप डेटा आना चाहिए, डेटा एक्विजिशन होना चाहिए. वो क्या, कौन सा डेटा मशीन देगी, कौन सा डेटा वर्कर देगा, or then how do you kind of integrate that data. So connectivity becomes the second step, which is the digital infrastructure जो एक होना चाहिए. After that solutions prioritize के बेस पे पिक करिए, उनके छोटे लेवल पर एक प्रूफ ऑफ कॉन्सेप्ट POCs करिए. So that take once, अगर आप क्वालिटी के मैं बोल रहा था क्वालिटी का, so एक वर्क स्टेशन पर क्वालिटी का एक सोल्यूशन लगवाइए. You see the benefits. जब आपको कॉन्फिडेंस आ जाए तो आप प्लांट लेवल पर स्केल करेंगे. तो ऐसे ही अलग अलग सोल्यूशन के POCs करिए. जब POCs करेंगे आपको ROI का भी अपने आप आइडिया हो जाएगा. एक वर्क स्टेशन पे अगर सोल्यूशन काम कर रहा है तो उससे से कितना आपको बेनिफिट्स हुआ, यू विल गेट टू नो, राइट. सो दैट्स हाउ दिस अप्रोच विल वर्क बेटर फॉर यू. यू विल नो दैट कितने किस सोल्यूशन से कितना बेनिफिट आ रहा है, एंड देन फाइनली जब आप व्हेन यू आर कॉन्फिडेंट कि सोल्यूशन काम करेगा, तब आप स्केल कर दीजिए. अगर एक वर्क स्टेशन में काम कर रहा है तो बाकी वर्क स्टेशन पे भी वो काम करेगा, करेक्ट. सो दैट्स हाउ दैट स्केलिंग कैन बी डन. और अगर आप POCs कर रहे होंगे, सो देन बाय द टाइम यू आर डूइंग द POCs, आपके अंदर एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग भी आ जाएगी टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में, राइट. सो दैट्स द अदर बेनिफिट दैट यू विल गेट बाय डूइंग दिस स्मॉल POCs. सो दैट्स व्हाई दिस POCs आर एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट टू बी डन. ये जो स्लाइड बेसिकली दिस इज कुछ चीज़ें ऐसी रहती हैं कि जहाँ पे मतलब ये द रीज़न ऑफ दिस मेकिंग दिस स्लाइड इज, जब आप बड़े लेवल पर अगर आप कुछ करेंगे तो कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स ऐसे होंगे जहाँ पर आपको एक एंटरप्राइज लेवल पर डिप्लॉय करना होगा. ना हेयर द POC कॉन्सेप्ट विल नॉट वर्क. सो जो हाईवे प्रोजेक्ट्स जो मैंने लिखे हैं, करेक्ट, जो ERP हो गया या MES हो गया, ये एक बड़े लेवल का एक प्रोजेक्ट रहते हैं. अगर लॉन्ग टर्म के हिसाब से देख रहे हैं तब ये करना होता है. और इसके लिए आई विल ऑलवेज सजेस्ट टू गो विद लिटिल ए कंपनी हु हैज ऑलरेडी proven a lot और थोड़े से बड़े स्केल पर पहुंच चुकी है, उनके साथ काम करें तो it will be the better one. जितने भी बाकी जो छोटे छोटे सॉल्यूशंस होते हैं जहाँ पे POCs कर सकते हैं, उसके लिए जो सजेशंस हमारा ये है कि यू वर्क विद द स्टार्टअप. सो दैट्स हाउ यू कैन डिसाइड टू वर्क, कौन सा काम आपको बड़ी कंपनी से करवाना है, कौन सा काम आपको छोटे स्टार्टअप से करवाना है, सो दैट you can balance out the working between the both the kinds of the solution provider. So that was my overall what I wanted to cover. Now this is the last slide that I have. This is about us, that what we are doing. As I told earlier, we are a center based in Gandhinagar. The center has been established through Ministry of Electronics and IT and the Gujarat government. It's a Digital India program के अंदर एक initiative बना है to basically build an ecosystem that manufacturing companies can use to digitize. What we are doing is we are doing a lot of awareness creation, like the session which we are doing now. We keep on doing it. So it is more of the MSMEs को एक थोड़ा सा awareness create कर पाएं कि ये solutions कितने important हैं और it are the must to be used. Second thing is we also onboard solution providers जो रहते हैं startups और tech SMEs. We onboard them also so that we have enough people along with us who need the solution. We have enough people along with us who supply the solutions. We are also working very closely with the industry associations. So whatever you heard today, so with every association also we are engaged. We are engaged with the research organizations also, academia basically. तो हम क्या करते हैं कि जो एकेडमिया के अंदर जो रिसर्च हो रही है which is done by those researchers on the technology, वो solutions भी हम ला के then we present it to the industry. क्योंकि कई बार होता है कि किसी researcher का solution भी काम आ जाता है, right? So that's where we engage the researcher also, and then finally with the government leaders. So that's basically is the ecosystem that we are building. So we bring manufacturing companies, solution provider, researchers, government closer so that effective collaboration can happen to drive the adoption. अब इसके लिए हमारा एक specific program भी हम run कर रहे हैं, which the name is Smart Manufacturing Forum. Under this forum, इसका objective is there so that we can create some success stories in the MSME sector on the technology adoption. So पिछले ये एक साल से ये program चल रहा है. There are already 17 MSME companies basically who have been part of this, who are basically working with us on the technology adoption point of view. So what we do for them is basically we do regular training sessions for their leadership and for their blue collar workforce and their management team, so that एक company के अंदर एक capability बन जाए कि they understand well the application of the technology. So those regular sessions, master classes, training sessions which we keep doing for those members. Plus we are also, since the success stories बनाना है and success stories सिर्फ training करके होगा नहीं, साथ में hand holding भी करनी पड़ेगी. So that's the reason we do a hand holding also, where we work very closely with the MSMEs, understand the challenges, proper assessment करके understand the challenges. Based on that we recommend the solutions, and then we bring in the right startups who can deploy this solution. और startups और जब manufacturing companies वो solution मिल के deploy कर रहा होता है, then we basically oversee them so that just to ensure कि right solution is getting deployed. And when the solution gets built, we basically create success stories and promote those success stories. So there are already plenty of success stories which has been created in the last 6 months. Maybe, I mean, I don't have a time, so I didn't bring those success stories here, but there are plenty of success stories which are available, where the MSMEs have adopted the solution, and there are more and more MSMEs who are coming forward now in the adoption. So it's a kind of a great journey we had in the last 1.5 years, and good to see there is some level of attraction which we have started seeing from the MSMEs on the adoption. So I'm really very positive about this sector also adopting technologies and being work at the same level as the large companies are working. So I look forward to all of your support. Anything which we feel from a center point of view which we can do, which you feel will benefit the MSMEs, I look forward to those suggestions also. So with that, thank you very much. So this is our ID. In case you have any question or need anything, I mean, you can just write to this ID and then someone from our team basically will respond to you. Thank you very much, and thank you, EP.
we've saved the best for the last, right? We've spoken about MSMEs, we've spoken about businesses, we've spoken about opportunities, we've spoken about challenges. What we've not focused on a lot is women in MSMEs. And, it's the last, but it is the best. And, therefore, we're very glad and very grateful, Hina Shah, that you're here with us today, and Ami's already introduced you. So I, directly want to jump into our conversation. At ICED, you've trained, mentored, supported women entrepreneurs across India. And you've helped over 100,000 women entrepreneurs start and grow their businesses. I mean, that's an amazing statistic, right? So I want to ask you, in terms of opportunities, what are the key opportunities for women in this sector, which they can leverage to succeed? But with opportunities, I'm also very aware of the fact that there would be challenges, and what hinders the development of women-owned MSMEs, and how can all of these challenges be addressed? So I'm trying to cram everything I can.
It's too much because they are very hungry. But nevertheless, I'm so happy that since morning you are only talking about men enterprises, and at least woman's turn has come as usual at the end of the session. Always, even the policies also, even the teaching, education, everywhere. Nevertheless, let's begin in a new way. So it's my pleasure that I had been involved in developing women. If we see our society, our social structure, and our education system doesn't make entrepreneurs. They always said, you get the best of the marks, you study well, nahi padh rahe to tuition le lo, otherwise get into the job. और यहाँ जॉब नहीं मिलेगा तो बॉम्बे जाओ, बॉम्बे नहीं मिलेगा तो अमेरिका जाओ, अमेरिका नहीं मिलेगा तो कनाडा जाओ, अब कनाडा भी नहीं मिल रहा है तो ऑस्ट्रेलिया जाओ. And most of the children, they go to the tuition and they work for the jobs. When it comes to women, the context is very different. When it comes to women, and that is where the best and the worst, the challenges come. Women have been taught to look beautiful, to study so that they get a good husband, and then settle down. And in our education system, there is no special motivation to women. And when it comes to the rural area, it is worst. Now, in this situation, women have never motivated themselves to look into the opportunity at all, because they don't have the attitude towards seeing opportunity. Because earlier father says, don't worry, main hu na. Then husband says, don't worry, main hu na. And then the children say, don't worry, main hu. तो मैं हूँ में हम लोग सब भूल जाते हैं. And that is why the biggest problem in our society is that women do not see the opportunities. Just recently we were talking about it, that we have got 60 million men entrepreneurs, SMEs. And in that condition, even though our country says that SME is the basic engine of our growth, women are only 13.5%. Why? Because that is the biggest constraint. And women entrepreneurship is not an automatic process. That is also another constraint. That doesn't mean our constitution has not given the equal status to men and women. It has, but our social, cultural, and our system of society has not changed. And for that matter, I'm very happy to talk to you that more entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, are possible if you men allow them to do that. So my women entrepreneurs, the number of women entrepreneurs whom we have trained, ma'am, 12 बजे के बाद क्लास रखो, 2 बजे के बाद क्लास रखो, because my husband comes at 1 and I have to give him garam roti. So that system needs to be changed. Now, if we talk about the opportunities women have, and women can access any opportunity they can access. Women can be in the field of electronics. They can make meters, and they are making meters, ohm meters, multimeters, and so on. Women are in the engineering industries. They make the miniature motors. They make the rewinding of motors. They make armatures, and they are there. Women are in the field of plastics. They are in injection molding. They make the sweet boxes. They make the tiffin boxes, and so on. Today, women are making the mouse, they are making the small accessories of the telephones, they are making accessories of the computers, and so on. So opportunity-wise, they are value-added industries they are into. They are into retail, they are into the value chain addition, they are also working as ancillary industries. Large number of industries whom we have connected, and that is, they are in the textile industries, they make the collars of one of the textile industries, and they are part of the whole ancillary business. Few women entrepreneurs are part of the export orientation, they do the part of the work, job work for them. So you name it, and opportunities are there. But the constraints come when women are not interested in looking into the opportunities. They want to start a business, whatever they know. मुझे ये आता है, and whatever my family says, and family is not aware about it. So biggest problem is women go into the traditional businesses. So now the traditional businesses, as we talked about, the automation has gone into automation, and our women entrepreneurs are making non-traditional automated type of industries. When it comes to challenges, we just did a research, recently research with UN, and I would just like to share that biggest challenge is financing is underutilized. We have got
Underutilized.
Underutilized.
It's not access, but it's utilization.
Yes.
Okay.
All the banks have got. I got the other details also, which says that which are the schemes. And
Women
you go
are
to,
economical.
sorry?
Women are economical.
Yeah. So therefore, they don't become the growth-oriented. We talked about the growth-oriented SMEs to bring the economic change in the country. So women have to
on the business to grow the business.
Absolutely. And problem of delayed payment from the buyers. That is the biggest problem. Women entrepreneurs, when they apply for the loans in the bank say, अच्छा, वो बहन छे, okay, उसने 6 लाख का project बोला है, अच्छा ऐसा करो 3 लाख दे दो. So the business becomes sick at that point of time. And by the time the business has been sanctioned by the banks, it becomes 2.5 lakhs. So then they are at the mercy of getting funds from somewhere else. So that is one. Another is lack of adequate information about various schemes. No schemes. Schemes are available in the policy. We are all about talking about policy, but how many of we know that what are the policy? And women have no idea. They said, "Acha, aap batao." Whatever my husband says, whatever somebody says, we do. I would like to request the policymakers to promote these programs in a bigger way at the television level, at the posters level, and so on. Adequate access to market, inadequate access to market, and technology. Lack of human resources and inappropriate product selection and machinery. That is another biggest challenges, and limited network and managing production. We just talked about it. These are the challenges women entrepreneurs face.
Right. So, when you speak of financing, how do you come in and how do you expand that horizon for them and enable financing for women? If you could give us the playbook.
We are working for the women to become entrepreneurs. So it is a big project. We have 3 aspects of it. We promote them. So promotion takes about 2 to 3 months. We go to women and we tell them that, ma'am, you want to become an entrepreneur? No. So we begin from that no to motivate them to say yes. It is much different than the men entrepreneurs in our country. So that is the promotion part of it, where we arouse their motivation to be independent, arouse their motivation to do something on their own. And thereafter, we do the capacity building. In the capacity building, we work for 4 levels, that is identification of the product which is viable in the market. Otherwise, tend to select only product what they know about it. So that is where the biggest challenge is, and they move in the market, do the study, do the research, and thereafter they select the product. That is the first step towards bankable loan receiving. Secondly, consolidation of the resources. They know how to take the machine. They know how to take the raw material. But as we talked about it, that somebody is keeping 6 months of raw material, somebody is keeping 2 months of raw material, and women will keep for 1 year of raw material. They said, nahi hoga to main kya karungi? So that is the biggest problem, because they don't have the
Inventory
access and
management.
inventory management.
Right.
And secondly, if we still go further, it is the establishment. Loan sanction ho gayi hai, establishment period is there, but father-in-law has got an attack, so her whole schedule gets up, down, down, up. And by the time they start the business, their installments get started. So these kinds of problems are there. So during our training and educating them, we help them to make the viable project, and we call the bankers. We call all the financial institution, earlier state finance institution used to come, but we call the bankers and we help them to sanction their loans then and then. So that serves the purpose, and that is the biggest bottleneck what we have managed to cross.
You managed to overcome. So, tell us about some of the innovative financing models that are available to women, especially in this MSME sector.
Financial models is again a big, huge schemes I would like to share with you, and that is very, very interesting. I don't know whether it is innovative or not, but according to the government, these are innovative scheme. Innovative scheme has got Mudra Yojana scheme for women, where up to 50,000 rupees women get without any bilateral this. Ghar Divda scheme is available with Women Economic Development Corporation, especially for women model scheme, where they say it is 12,000 rupees for SC, ST. Now, sometimes I wonder that is 12,000 rupees is enough for somebody to start a business? How can we take it as a model? But this is what is happening for women, not for men. Now, another interesting one is Prime Minister Yojana, which goes up to 1 lakh of rupees. But then they said, collateral leke aao. It is not written here, but then women, when it comes, it doesn't happen like that. Sri Shakti package for women, sent Kalyani scheme for women, where they give 100 lakhs of loan, and all the men take it on behalf of their women, wives. These things happen, but still these schemes are there. And I would not say that they are only innovative. Orient Mahila Vikas, Anupama scheme, special scheme for tribal women.
So you essentially you're saying that, the schemes are there, money is there,
yes,
but women are somehow not being able to benefit out of it.
Women are not being able to go there and take it because bureaucracy is very high and people are not aware about it. Here we come in between. We give them the seed money so they can use the seed money up to 50 lakhs, 50,000 rupees, 1 lakh, 2 lakhs. So they begin the business. Once they begin the business, all the bankers believe in them and then they give them the loans. When it comes to the rural area, we have the self-help group system in rural area where they save the money and bank gives 5 times, 10 times more money to them. And these are some interesting models where we have to give them seed money, we have to give them the extra linkages with the SHGs, and so on.
All right. Talk to us about technology. How that can be a game changer for women, and what are and also platformization. How do you think that can propel women to be able to make gains in business?
Technology is always a fear for women, but when we take them to the industrial visits, from micro to small, medium they are so much afraid because they are not used to thinking about it. But micro to small, and when they see the machinery working, they feel very comfortable. We call the machinery producers to them, we take them there, they do a lot of demonstration, and I would like to say that they opt for the good machineries and high technical machineries as well. Up to 80 lakhs ka machine le liya, 25 lakh ka machine le liya, and things like that. That has changed a bit.
So the fear of technology is now out, you're saying?
Especially when you have to facilitate. it does not happen on its own.
Right.
Family members डराते ज़्यादा है कि अरे तुम कैसे चलाओगी, अरे तुम कैसे करोगी, and so on. And there another fear is their licensing and legal aspects.
Right.
So that they find it very difficult. But during the technology, as NASCAM said, that they facilitate hand-holding, we also do the hand-holding for the legal support. We also do the hand-holding for machinery selection. We also do the hand-holding for raw material exposure and buying it.
Okay. You know, if you had to lay out, you know, if a woman wants to be an entrepreneur, maybe sitting on the fence, does not know whether she wants to be, you know, what would you tell a woman like that? You know, where should she start? What should she do first? Or, you know, name the 5 things that she should do.
First of all, we tell her to be motivated and self-confident, where she would see that I can do it. I can't to I can is one step.
It's a journey, yeah.
It's a journey. That is the first step. Second step, the biggest problem is, kya banao? There we come with thousands of profiles and product details, what we keep ready for them in different sectors. That is a second step where they feel comfortable once they are exposed to it. And once they know, oh, all these informations are available. So information giving becomes the stage where they select the product. Third is how to make a business plan, how to make profit. They feel, मैंने जो बनाया, बेचा और जो आया वो सारा profit है. So it is not that. So to make them aware about the third stage, that how to make the business plan, technical business plan, which consider raw material requirement, machinery cost, and then the production cost.
All right.
And fourth is the production management, where we teach them how to improve the quality, and they do very well.
How long do they need the hand-holding?
For 1 year.
For 1 year.
For 1 year.
And after that, they're able to continue on their own.
After that, they are on their own. Then these are the irreversible process. And I would like to tell you, all these women have never come back. Rather, second generation have gone into businesses.
So, you know, you started by painting a little bit of a gloomy picture, but would you now say in your own words, you know, that the trend line is changing?
That's the trend line is changing, and therefore 13% of women, that makes about 1 million something out of 60 million, something like that. And that's a big number.
Yeah.
And this situation is there in everywhere. In our country, we still have only 35% of women who have got the bank accounts.
Right.
So it starts from there. And that is what is happening in Egypt, that is what is happening in Africa, that is what is happening in many countries. We have got only that much. But the developed countries, Australia le lo, America le lo, UK le lo, 100% bank, 100% accounts are there in the bank. So it is easy for them to do the business. That kind of awareness there. In spite of that, Europe has got only 10% of women entrepreneurs. We are still better than them because their needs are different. So women have got many thought processes that entrepreneurship, 24 hours of job, husband hai, bacche hai. Initially they look after the children, then they look after the elders, then they look after many other things. So women have found that they lag behind because of the social conditioning, which is changing very well these days. Thanks to all the gentlemen sitting here, make all of your wives all entrepreneurs.
All right.
You can do it that.
You know, last 2 questions now. What are the emerging trends and opportunities that you think women entrepreneurs could capitalize on? That's one. And the last question is, you know, what are the steps that are needed, apart from, you know, the cultural shift that you've mentioned, to create a more gender-inclusive entrepreneurial society or an ecosystem within the MSME sector?
If I see the opportunities, women have many opportunities. When I started my business, I was the all alone person. I was making the packaging industry, plastic packaging, where I was making polypropylene bags. I was all alone. Now they are not alone. Government Niti Aayog has put up the platform which is called Women Enterprise Platform. Now such things were not there. And these platforms are, and the types of schemes existing is making an environment much eco-friendly for women. But our BDS providers, regulatory system, our technical institution, I would like NASSCOM to join hands with us and take the technology to women. Now, that is required more gender inclusive inputs to them. And I think that kind of seminar conducted by ET would be of great interest to women as well.
You know, that's a fantastic idea. And on that note, thank you so very much. We wish you great success. You know, you empowered 100,000 women. May you empower 200,000 women. Thank you so much for your time. And to the entire audience here today, thank you very much for being patient.
Thank you, Dr. Shah. With this, we come to the end of Ahmedabad edition of the ET Make in India MSME Regional Summit 2023. Thank you to all our esteemed speakers, our partners, and to our participants who represent the vibrant Gujarat MSME ecosystem. We hope the many MSMEs who are present here today found this to be a valuable knowledge sharing and enabling experience as you chart the next wave of your growth. Do follow the economictimes.com for more such MSME focused initiatives.